You have to understand, either you are with us or you are against us.
So black men would have never did that. Yeah, man, Barack Obama for wearing a brown suit.
Okay, so it is what it is. I'm not alone, as you can tell. I got the whole. Milwaukee is active on a Wednesday night. Welcome to the show. Another episode of Outlaw Radio. I guess they have to say happy 420. It's your man, Kevin Barnes, bringing you another episode of Outlaw Radio, Smoke and Mirrors for 420, I guess. So, shout out to all the weed smokers out there. Um, it's funny because certain parts of the city you go in, it just smells like weed now. You can't even, I'm like, who even smoking? It's just in the air. I'm not alone. I got my partner with me, Mr. Carter. What's going on with you, brother?
Living, man, living. How y'all doing out there? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you. I am the black woman lover, the black man's brother, the culture teacher, hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor. I'm y'all holistic health and wellness coach, Kamar Carter. Peace, y'all. I'm also the one who brings you nature and the herbs and supplements and vitality and Meatless Mondays. Make sure y'all come holler. Kev, what's happening with you, man? How you
Man,
feel?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Anytime I can get on this microphone, I'm good. It's a lot going on today. It's a lot going on, period. But welcome to All Black Milwaukee. We got a lot of wind coming from your mic. Yeah, I'm sorry. It distracted me. But yeah, welcome to the show, man. And like I said, smoke and mirrors, just with the whole metaphor with the marijuana. Of course, we know 420 what that's about. I don't know if you believe in recreational usage, medicinal usage. I don't know if you understand what the war on drugs was really about in this country and the racist kind of aspect that it was conducted from. So, I mean, with Harry J. Anslinger and J. Edgar Hoover and all these people who we know plotted against people of color and did not want us to be able to make any moves. So they criminalized it. And the reality of it is some people doing time for some weed that probably shouldn't be because they sitting in there with murderers and rapists and whatnot. And that's a whole conversation. So welcome to the show tonight, man. If you've got something positive or progressive that you're involved in, hit us up, man. 262-202-5131. The chat room is on deck, man. Shout out to everybody who supports the show. And I wanted to, I have to give condolences, first of all, because there was a young brother by the name of Jeremiah Dotson, who was an athlete, who was a basketball player from here. And I guess he apparently allegedly committed suicide in Brown Deer Park. And the crazy part is I put this story up on Facebook and in the People's News Network, and they flagged me and told me I was restricted because I put up a post that had nudity and sex in it. I'm like, I don't even that's not what I do on Facebook. So I remember the last time there was an actress. My wife just told me who it was. Her son died. She was getting Regina King. I put that story up and they restricted me. So I don't know what's up with Facebook, but I want to say rest in peace, man, to that young brother. Condolences to his family, man. And we talk on this show all the time about mental health and brothers in mental health and depression and all this kind of stuff. And it's sad to see it play out for somebody so young, man. So definitely rest in peace to him. And it's all kinds of crazy. Milwaukee is crazy as shit right now. So welcome to the show, man. I just had to add that. Because these platforms, we know that they kind of filter out information that could do us some good or something that could move the needle ahead for us. So, and they Facebook and all these social media platforms have been exposed for doing so. So it's just funny how and I see some shit on Facebook sometimes that I know I'm like, how did this not get flagged? Like, I know you've been wondering that. Like, you see, you put up something simple like the Jackson 5 getting back together, and they be like, oh, You flagged. You like what? And somebody else put up someone so dead, and it'd be a whole lie. And it gets to stick. So, but anyways, we do this Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Where I do this, the Big Black Sports Show on Tuesdays. Tomorrow night I'll be doing Outlaw Nation because I do have a guest. This the young brother from here, comedian who puts up videos and stuff. Always some more support like comedy, like stand-up comedy, black comics. Travis Foster, I think his name is. I got to be sure on this. He's from the hood. We never say each other's last name in the hood, so I can say his hood name, but you wouldn't know. But he's supposed to be on tomorrow night. Play some of his videos, talk some shit, man. You know, do what we do, man. We waiting on Kamar to get locked in the lab over there in the ghetto witch doctor's mad scientist room. We gonna get it cracking. But what y'all do for Happy 420, man? I mean, you know, and look, I'd like to know like the conversation about marijuana. Like it's forever ongoing. Like how harmful is it? How beneficial is it? We know that people who are pro marijuana can give you a million different reasons that marijuana should be legal in terms of what you could use it for. You can make paper out of it, you can make ropes, you can make jeans, drawers, socks, cars. We know that. But then the people who are against it say, well, it's a gateway drug and it leads to worse things. And it's not physically addictive, but it's mentally addictive. So you hear all the arguments. That's why I like to get people's opinion on, what y'all think, man. 420. I mean, are you against? Because this seems like something that should be on the ballot pretty soon. Because we've already had a situation where they had it, where we voted on the possible, what could it be a possible referendum, to have it on there, and it was voted through. And so, but we say, the Congress, the Wisconsin, they'll never vote it in. But this is something we seriously need to look at, especially in Milwaukee, because one thing our city is in need of is tax revenue, right? Like the city's broke, like, it's always, well, ideally they're broke. Now I know they're getting COVID money now, so they coffers is stuff, right? I know they've taken care of that business, but I'm saying that tax revenue could benefit the city in a lot of different ways. Of course, we know if we get that, we have to make sure that it goes to the right places because more often than not, the gatekeepers get a hold to it. So the legalization of it for me is cool. I think then, even with some of that revenue, you can take steps to create real rehab facilities instead of, these jokes, these places where you go and you blow it off. So I don't know where you at on it, man. Where y'all at on it? Outlaw Nation, what y'all think? Happy 420. Kamar, what's going on, man? I know you enjoyed today.
Yeah, man. But I 420 every day, man. Every day, all day. It ain't nothing new to me. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? I think eventually they will pass a recreational weed law, marijuana law. You know what I'm saying? I think eventually it will. With all the CBD stuff going on, you know what I mean? I think that they opening the door for it. They're
Okay.
getting people comfortable with it. They talking about the medicinal purposes and all that type of stuff. Medicinal weed probably get pushed through first. You know what
Okay.
I mean? And then recreational. I mean, I think it's moving to it. Milwaukee's slow, man. We slow with all that type of stuff. They see how much money being made in other states. I'm
Right.
sure they see that. They can't wait to line their pockets with it. But I think that's something that they got to usher in because all these years it's been illegal. So it's probably a lot of people who still against it because of that. Because they was taught to think of it so negative. So they got to reintroduce it and normalize it, I think.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was alluding to when I said that there's a stigma that's attached because you're talking about Harry J. Anslinger and you're talking about J. Edgar Hoover. There's a stigma attached to it. That's the criminalized portion of it. Where that's why I say, are we talking about recreational usage or are we talking about decriminalization? So brothers will stop being on that school to prison pipeline because you got caught with some weed. If you get caught with 3 or 4 pounds of weed, you shouldn't have to go and do hard penitentiary time, right? Like so, unless people was getting shot over the weed, or unless you shot somebody over the weed. So I don't know. It depends on where people are at. Welcome to the show, Real.
Hey,
Smoke.
what's happening with y'all?
Happy 420. I know this is a great day for you, right?
Oh man, every morning is a cause for praise, but this is a blessed holiday. That reminds us of all the abundant plant medicine that God put on this earth. Some for ailments and some for enjoyment, you know.
You are definitely high right now.
You know,
That's
you know, this is
shit.
how we celebrate the day, you
Right.
know.
Well, you know this day above ground and all this foliage.
Hey
Yeah, this dude.
man, yeah, that's
I don't know.
exactly how it is.
So yeah, it's a couple different angles to it. If we talk about what's actually legal, right, like cigarettes and alcohol and things of that nature, there's some prescription medication. This is how we get to this opioid epidemic where we have fentanyl and these kinds of. That's legal. Like they can sell that, bro. You got to have a prescription, but you can sell it. It's legal. But you're gonna tell me you'll put somebody in prison because they had a bag of weed? Or I know now Milwaukee has eased the restrictions as well on. I think the ticket went from something like $500 to like $50 or something now. If you get caught with a certain amount of weed, of course you get pulled over with 5-6 pounds. You still got to go downtown, but marijuana has its own culture in this country. Like there's magazines, like it's a whole kind of lifestyle. If you really smoke, because I know I got some friends who was just regular, and we all maybe start chiefing at the same time, and then they just took it to the point where you see this dude wearing tie-dye shirts and shit. Now he got all kinds of different ways to. Man, I make cookies out of I make I make crackers. Like he just becomes a real weed connoisseur. So, and
Hey,
that culture spent a lot of money.
hey, but but them type of people also ain't out committing too many crimes either. Too
Right.
many heinous crimes. You know what I'm saying? So that says a lot too about that whole weed culture.
Yeah. Yeah, that goes to what people talk about, the relaxing part of it, where people say it make you creative or whatever.
Hey, and it's just absurd how they could criminalize you for something that grow out the ground.
Well, they had to.
What? You know,
Okay,
I
go.
mean, say what?
Oh no, I was gonna say they had to. They Anslinger was running out of shit to police. You know, they had just got rid of prohibition and stuff like that. So this was a meal ticket. But what he did was he played on people's xenophobia, like even calling it marijuana. You know, back in the day, Wisconsin was the prominent hemp grower. Like we grew hemp for the military, for them to make tents, cots, all kind of things like that. So that's why he couldn't just call this hemp. He had to call this marijuana. He had to give it a Mexican name to play on white folks' xenophobia. And then he told them that it made darkies think they were, you know, as cool as white folk. You know, but in actuality, everybody knew that it was nothing worth demonizing. It's just like everything else, politics, propaganda, and profit.
Right. I don't. Once again, we talk about Anslinger and that whole movement, but the whole thing. A lot of this is the biggest thing he said that scared the shit out of people is that it make black dudes want to have sex with white women,
Mm-hmm.
especially when they listening to jazz music. So you think about that
Right, right.
the movie Reefer Madness and all this shit. Once
Hey
again,
man, why they gotta throw jazz music in there though? Because it's another
Well,
black dude probably.
it's a dope ass Netflix documentary, which today would be an awesome day to watch it. It's called The Grass is Greener. It's actually narrated by Fab Five Freddy. And he looks at it from a musical perspective, showing how weed or reefer back then, or they called it jive. It was real prominent in the jazz clubs, and what happened is like the white college students will come out to jazz scenes in New York, and the problem was it really wasn't the weed. The problem was white people and black people being in a setting to where the narrative couldn't be pushed. So by them intermingling and see us being human and our humanity and our artistic side, it had them questioning their fathers and forefathers. Kind of just like this whole race thing in
same old
school
story.
now.
It's
Yeah.
the same old story. Shout out to Earl Henning. He said we need to stop waiting on Whitey to help us, help tell us the services that we need. We need to start servicing ourselves. You right. We always say,
Definitely.
do for self is something we stress hardcore on this show. I mean, it's all over. That's why I do what I do. Because instead of sitting around and listening to somebody else do it and complaining about what they doing, I'll just do my own shit. I can criticize my own shit, right? Like so,
Exactly.
and I wanted to talk about that a little bit too today because like I say, I'm on YouTube a lot. I'm paying attention to other platforms, and I want to say to anybody who has a platform, shout out to you, but understand that there's a lot that can happen behind words, right? Like these platforms hold some influence over certain groups of people. And I'm talking about the dudes, not us. I'm talking about the dudes who do it like I'm watching this Whack 100 and this whole Hassan Campbell thing, and this thing is going to the left. I know a lot of people may not know what I'm talking about, but this is all about Takashi 69, and it's really just YouTube clubhouse beef. But the shit's getting serious because now it's coming out that possibly there's some video footage of Nipsey Hussle being engaged in some kind of gay activity with another man and his wife, his baby mama, and supposedly this tape has been held and it's turning into a big crazy scenario, man. And I'm like, damn, I'm just hoping somebody, gonna end up getting their shit split as usual. But I'm like, damn, when do we learn, right? Like I thought we learned from the whole Tupac Biggie thing, and it's all centered around rap music and drill music and like all the dysfunctional aspects of the culture that's hip hop now is all like intertwined in this. So I guess I just want brothers to understand, man. Be careful when you pop a lot of shit on your platform, like harsh shit, threatening shit, a lot of dark shit, attracting negative energy. You got to be careful with that because that should have come knocking.
Yeah, words got power.
So that's why we talk about like I don't diss nobody on here. Like you can go back and listen to 7 years of shows. I might have said a joke about somebody or something like that, but there's no beef. I'm not a rapper. Like I don't have beef with another podcaster. And even if we got into it, we can agree to disagree. You just go do your shit and I'll go do mine. It's, I
Right.
mean, come on, we beating their ass when we see them at the Sherman Phoenix. So understand, man, and this is an era where this kind of thing is popping, where cats get to just really get on and give the world their perspective, right? But you get people who support you, before you know it, you got a movement, and if you lead that movement in the wrong way, it's gonna always come back to haunt you. It never fails. It comes back to haunt you. So I'm looking at all of the shit Whack 100 been in, and all these beefs, and he's gonna beat up Trick Daddy and gonna beat up this person and that person. Now coming down
Talking
to
about it,
that they're saying him and this other dude, Big U, were extorting Nipsey Hussle for a long time, holding this gay tape over his head. Like you gotta go listen, like if you into the foolishness, right? I know people like, Cam, what that got to do? What's going on in the city? Nothing. It's that we live in the era of platforms. And I share a lot of different platforms in the People's News Network. Because I support cats, if you want to get on here and do this shit, do it. I wouldn't be, nah, man, you can't do it. No, get you a computer or a
Right.
phone and do that shit, be heard. So I
Right.
just think, I just wanted to kind of let people know, man, we try our best on here to be positive. Ain't nobody no punk or nothing, but we're always very careful about, because like I used to do a segment called Coon of the Week, right? And I used to do it
Okay.
religiously. I had like music. It was a slick whole thing. We used to do Coon of the Week, but I stopped doing Coon of the Week because I don't even like to do that. Like putting our business in the street. Like if I feel like you a coon or Uncle Tom or something, I'll tell you when I see you, or you'll know by the
Right.
way I treat you. I don't need to get on the internet and holler, "Hey, motherfucker, shut up." That's why I was telling people, you may or you may not like the mayor, but as a black person, you don't really have the right to take somebody's blackness or give somebody some blackness, right? So you just got to be like, all right, respect as a man. You just ain't my type of black person. So we don't have to really go at each other like that with these platforms, man. Everything we do don't have to be about fighting and shit,
Right.
kicking each other in the ass and I'll get down. It's too many 50-year-old thugs, man. Because both of these dudes is 50. It's too many old. Like we always talk about the grandmothers laughing. Oh, their grandmamas ain't like they used to be. Now grandmama be in Mr. J's. Shit, now granddaddy be still on the corner smoking a backwood, right? So we can't put it all on them. I just wanted to put that out there, man, just in case y'all ain't. I know some people don't keep up with that shit, but that's something that's going on right now, and it's a potential for violence behind it. You seen any of this shit, Kamar?
no, but I do watch a lot of that YouTube stuff.
Okay.
But I ain't see what you talking about. But you know, Whack 100. I've been seeing him talk about a lot of different shit. You know what I'm saying? He always into it with somebody. This is another dude I be watching. I don't know if you ever caught got with a Crip Mac.
I haven't. I've seen clips from him, but I've never really watched his videos. But I know he be on that bullshit too.
Hey, dude, well, he a character. I like dude, man. He's a character for real, man. But, but you know, he do some good shit. Like he from out the hood over there. He for real like that too. You know what I mean? But he be on his videos. He go out feeding the homeless and all that type of stuff on his videos. He a rapper. But he got a unique style about it. Well, that really ain't unique. I guess it's that West Coast. Like
Right.
that
I know.
whole West Coast persona type of dude, that's him. Cuz on
Right.
hood. You know what I mean? All that type of shit. I like dude, man.
And that's have you thought about the fact that the Crips and the Bloods have basically just taken over the country? Like there's Crips and Bloods in New York. Like, and right now, one of the biggest problems New York has is gang violence. And it's
Hey,
Crips and Bloods. Like what
it started back in our era. Remember it was a bunch of them going on back then, back in the 90s. You know what I mean? It was I knew of a couple blood cliques that was here and was plugging. You know what I'm saying? So that way it started way back then. You know what I mean? You got to imagine if they in New York, they finna start a whole set.
no, they have, and this in there for what they say is it started in jail out there. So like it comes from the prisons out there, and it just I don't know how it connects. I'm not a Crip or a Blood, right? Like I'm like an old ass man. But I'm saying I never would have thought that this would be in 2022. This would be an issue we still have where Crips and Bloods is running rampant. Like, but it's all centered around this drill music we keep talking about. And so, like this drill, the whole drill movement kind of took the whole gang member mentality from Chicago and just took it everywhere else. Like it's and gang banging in Chicago is different. It's not like gang banging in LA. So when people say gangs, it's gangs. Nah, it's different, right? Like so there's a whole kind of different movement with it's all dysfunctional, by the way. And I'm not big up in it. I just think it's sad that this is the folk. This is what hip hop has deteriorated into for me. Like I'm for real in my feelings about that shit. Like it's just like, man, look at what happened to rap music. Right? Like so, yeah. I feel a little salty about a lot of heat coming off the end of that couch. What y'all think about that?
I think it's gonna change back it's gonna change back better eventually. You know what I'm saying? Because it is a lot of good music out now, too.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I think when we get tired of listening to certain type of shit, you know what I mean? We get tired of hearing a motherfucker talk about how they got more money than us. We get tired of hearing about how motherfuckers shoot us. Or you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to hear that shit. We get tired of hearing it, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers gonna stop making it. They only making it because people want to hear it.
Yeah, we love that shit though. This is year 45 for hip hop. This is year 50. Like so, I mean, you know, this is it's so embedded into our violence and aggressiveness is like part of American culture, not just black culture. Like what's one of our favorite sports is like fighting shit, boxing and hockey and football, and somebody knock his ass out. Like
the most violent sports.
right. And then we'd be like, it's all for fun. Right, what?
Hey, but you know, that's that culture. You know what I mean? It's that Western culture, man. This culture we done learned. You know what I'm saying? The whole European thing, man, they always been brutal like that. They always been violent as a motherfucker.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but you know, like I said, man, keep cool booty, man. Stay positive, keep good energy around you. Deal with positive people, man. Even if you're in a situation right now that's negative, you got to start, like somebody got to start to change. So you got to be the person to say, you know what? I got to think for all of us here, man. Because we got to figure out a way to get above this. And when I say above this, I mean like always being mad, always being in some shit, always being in some drama. Man, so and so got jumped and they came over here shooting. They was arguing. If the people you hang around are always fighting and in drama, you need to find new people to hang around.
Yeah, you need new friends.
Right, it's my family though. It's
Sometimes
always
the family can be bad for you too. You know,
almost definitely.
It's always gonna be bad, and that's what I think in our city with the violence, because you see this fool on the expressway today trying to get away in a high speed and turns the car over, hops out on 43 and tries to run across the freeway, and there's a baby in the car. He jumped out and left a little kid in the car. I don't know where he thought he was going. Somebody had him on camera the whole joint. Like he's running, and I'm looking like, do he know they like got a kid? But he left a kid in the car. And this is on the freeway, man. This dude, the footage is all in the news. It's in the People's News Network. He tried to smash. We talked about the fact that one of the craziest things that we seen lately in Milwaukee that you used to never see is crazy shit happening on the highway. Like you back in the days, you really heard of two dudes driving down 45 having a shootout. That shit has happened so many different times here over the last few years where it was chasing each other through the streets, and then they got on the expressway and was like y'all was really chasing each other shooting on the expressway. So yeah, that's some wild shit, man. That's what that kind of shit leads to, man. When it's always funk, it's always drama, it's always I don't like them. We all got that one homie who don't like nobody, right? Don't like the motherfuckers, man. Why, man? I just don't like the motherfuckers. It's just, like, damn, you don't like nobody. Like you got to get dude a break, man. Your mind needs a break from negativity.
Don't like nobody but us.
Right. I probably say that about y'all when he with some other people. I don't like them niggas. Why you been with them? Watching their ass? Like, man, what are you doing? So yeah, man. But I know we come to fight. Y'all know it. Black people get there ready to fight. I wish a motherfucker would. Cedric the Entertainer said it best. As soon as you walk in, I wish a motherfucker would. And the first thing, brothers, niggas know what's up. Now, actually, they don't. Right?
No.
They don't really know what's up, right? Like they'll try you, motherfucker. So people every time somebody does something crazy, somebody puts a caption up that says, "Yep, time to leave Milwaukee." Right? So that we just had 414 day, right? Like, and I was talking about, we from Milwaukee, we in the north side and all this. But where are you gonna go where this kind of shit don't exist in the black community in America? I would venture out to say most black communities, regardless of the city that they're in, have a lot of the same issues and a lot of the same shit going on. So, if people say, well, there's more opportunity.
Some other bullshit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or some other bullshit is more relevant. Like we may be having the stolies and the running the red lights and all that shit, but you go to another community, city, you know what I mean? They're gonna be dealing with some other shit.
Right.
Yeah, so I think maybe the conversation needs to shift to what we gonna do about this shit we got going on right here, right now. That's what everybody needs. And I think most of us feel like, what can I do? That's the reality of it. Most people be like, so what the fuck I'm supposed to do? That's what we got police for.
I feel like this is the most important issue in our community, right? So all the leaders, like you figure like the common council, it seems like they should be banding together and this should be something against their number one fight. You know what I mean? This should be the leadership number one fight. And we should figure some other shit out, you know what I mean? But this should be the number one thing.
But there's that problem that we face where do you get more punitive or like what
right.
And I say it, we got to deal with the poverty, but I don't know. To me, that doesn't mean not holding motherfuckers accountable and giving them the time they deserve when they do certain shit. Like people black people shouldn't be locked up, mass incarceration, I say, yeah, but some motherfuckers deserve to be locked up.
Yeah. Well, you start locking motherfuckers up, but then also at the same time, I think we should be putting in place, you know what I mean, different things that can help the community as far, financially, for the long haul, teaching financial literacy and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just as people are getting punished for doing the shit, we should be setting up stuff for people.
Yeah.
To get that.
Yeah, we got to figure out a way, and we've had some great conversations on this show about.
You can't tell a motherfucker to stop doing something without being able to tell them what else they can do.
Right. You got to have an alternative.
So that's why I say, as we punish people, people start getting set examples. People are being set as an example. We also need to be promoting different things that people can do, different lanes that they can take that can help them.
I'm looking at the leadership. I put up once again. Shout out to Tiara Arthur. She said, "Good evening, Outlaws. What's going on, my sister? Um, welcome aboard." There's an article in the People's News Network about Chris Abley and his contributions to Brother DC Crowley and Cavalier Chevy, whatever. I'm never gonna get this shit right. Mayor Johnson. And so I guess he contributed 750,000 to DC. And I've been saying all black everything, and we got these black politicians and da 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 da. Okay. So I've been saying that, right? In the interest of intentional solidarity. But when you say Chris Abley has given $750,000 over here to the county executive, and then $250,000, and his wife made a separate contribution to Chevy Johnson's campaign, I'm saying, I detect the puppet master. So I'm happy still. What's going on, Rock? My brother, man, what's going on with you, Rock? Um, I'm paranoid, and I'm very pessimistic. So when I see this, I say, oh shit. Have we been had? Have we been hoodwinked? Have we been bamboozled? Right? Because now, basically, who really has all the power? If I gave the majority of the money for this and the majority of the money for that, I'm calling shots on the city and the county level. Right? Don't just kind of make this dude unfairly powerful. Right? His influence is a little too good, a little too great in the community, especially considering the fact that it's black leaders. Right? Like, so, this is a very interesting development for me. I seen that it's in the People's News Network. There's a group that was they were a confidential donor, I guess. They were like a secret donor, and this is who Chris Abley headed up for Mayor Johnson. I know people gonna be like, Kev, they ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Da, 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 da. Okay, whatever. Pay attention to everything that's going on. So, because we got to know how to ask the right questions and know why certain things happen and why certain things don't. Whose agenda is really at play here, right? It's a lot to lose for black people. Believe it or not, black people in Milwaukee right now, we have a lot to lose. We have a lot to lose because gentrification is coming faster than we think. There's another hike on property taxes this year, again, on property owners. Who's going to feel the squeeze of that? If we start talking about median income between black folks and white folks, right? Theirs is double what ours is. So who will have the capital to invest in or come back to live in the community? And who will be pushed out? I'm thinking po folks. Po folks for 5, Pat. You feel me? That was a little game show how they used to do. Okay, never mind. Shout out to Rock, man. He said all minors become majors one day. Yeah, man. You're right. But I'm just, if these brothers have taken what they've been provided as a resource from Chris Abley, and they've gone on to get these offices, and they said, well, I'm gonna go in here and make sure I do something for the people, that would be the best case scenario. But if there's another agenda at play here, say maybe Chris Abley's agenda, because now I don't want to know what Chevy Johnson's is. I want to know what Abley's is. I don't want to ask Carly DC no question. I want to ask Abley, like, so what you plan on doing with the county, bro? Since you done bought that, this dude is basically buying shit. This is monopoly to him. So I just want us to be aware, man, because we talked about Nation Consulting and we talked about the Working Family Party when Chris Johnson was on. Shout out to Chris Johnson from Kingfish MKE. These are the special interest groups that basically fund a great deal of our black politicians in the city. Not all of them, obviously, but a great deal of them. And we see a lot of them out here, and they're moving, and I do this and I do that. And the whole time they got somebody, a conservative special interest group or some conservative lobbyists behind them. So you just got to be aware, man. This is what I mean about being an informed voter. You know what I mean? So y'all be aware that we need to keep tabs on them. I think it's okay because, shout out to DC. He's been on our show a bunch of times. I've known DC for a very long time. I used to do community organizing, and DC was a community organizer as well. So we talking years and years ago. So he's been in the community for a very long time. Good brother. But we know how they do with us. We know how they pick and choose. And, that's why I'm tripping off of our mayor, who all of a sudden sounds just like Barack Obama. Like, I don't remember him being this Barackish. before. I'm like, well, you have handlers? Do you have trainers? Is this something y'all working on? Like,
They do have people to train them on how to speak and
Mhm.
stuff like that. You know
Public
what I mean?
relations.
I think he may have the same people, maybe working with the same people since he worked for Barack.
I mean, yeah, Democrats, there
Hey,
are.
check this out. They showed and lined them pockets for years. You know what I'm saying? So they got enough money to instill that team.
Yeah, man. Once again, we got to understand Tom Barrett had sort of like a corporate agenda for me, to me. And correct me if I'm wrong and you out there and you're listening. Numbers run across the bottom of the screen 262-202-5131. It's Outlaw Radio, Smoking Mirrors, happy 420. Um, Barrett kind of went into like, I'm going to develop downtown. I'm gonna bring big business. I think this is what he was like. I'm not even tripping on no real social issues right now. It's some runover and some runoff for that. We can do that for good PR. But my focus is developing this downtown and creating a city where people who have higher incomes will want to come back to it. Who are those people? Those are suburbanites. Those are people who live in the small towns, in the wild counties, right? And they have one of the highest median incomes in the country, or they have. I haven't checked it lately. They have recently. So these are the people that you want to attract back to the city, because then they can come back and fix the properties. The property values will go up. You make more money off property tax, right? The problem is this is the area and the real estate that y'all ran off on years ago when open housing was passed, and it's majority black. So what do? Let's develop a Bronzeville, right? Let's start redeveloping these areas and giving these loans, and which is great for black businesses. If you want to open a black business, there's a lot of money here right now for you to be able to go out and get some funding for that. But are we taking advantage of that? We need to take advantage of that more. But I'm just saying this whole corporate agenda brings gentrification with it. So that's why I say black people need to be more aware, because pretty soon you're gonna be finding yourself getting moved out of your own. Like, oh, this is it. Now hold on, maybe it's a good thing. Somebody tell me, could gentrification possibly be a good thing?
It could be because, like remember, I was talking about how we got a lot of different black people starting their own businesses and stuff. So that's gonna create jobs in itself. Now, if you're moving our people all to certain spots, we got different businesses that's beneficial to our community. Right now, there's a lot of businesses in our communities that ain't beneficial to our community. So it could be a good thing. Who knows? If we can learn how to live together, it can be a good thing.
And okay, I would say in terms of getting rid of the crime,
that too.
if we won't. Is this a solution? Black people should say, you know what? We welcome gentrification. Clean this shit up. Is that how we need to be moving?
Well, no, I ain't saying that. I'm talking about like if they did move all the black people out to different spots like that. Like you look at right now how you got a lot of black people starting businesses and everything and doing well. So if we all moving out to these different counties, we taking our businesses to these other counties too. And you look at the communities right now where we at, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing in the community that's beneficial to our community. So at least we would be in a community with shit around us that's beneficial.
I don't.
So
you know what?
What I'm saying is it could turn into a good thing in that sense.
All I see black people doing if that happens is coming back down here to spend their money, because this is where the businesses will be. So then we'll be trying to rush to get down here on Burleigh to go to a restaurant or something, and it's like, dude, we was sitting right there for years. And we
probably gonna do that. We're gonna do that, but then it's gonna be a lot of restaurants in our own community also that's gonna thrive too.
That's a whole other picture too, because how these surrounding areas are governed is very anti-people of color. So I would think when we get out there with Joe Blow, the sheriff, and the county deputies and all these cats in these little butthole places, they're gonna try to put hell on our back first, and like, well, you bringing that crime out here, we finna whip y'all now we really got y'all out here secluded. Y'all stay y'all ass in that project or building or development, I know.
Well, I ain't gonna worry about that part right now. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna focus on building myself up for when the time come. I'll deal with that problem when it come. I don't like worrying about a problem until the problem happens because the problem may never happen.
Well, I think we got to prepare for gentrification in the fact that so
Well,
I get a little bread. If I got a
that's
little
what
financial
I'm preparing.
stability,
That's what I'm
they
saying.
can't
Prepare.
they can't put me out. They can't run me out if I'm prepared for it
Right,
financially.
right.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
I can afford to live here too, motherfucker. So
Right. I was just saying, I was just speaking on if that happened. You know what I mean? How it could turn into a good thing, but then it also could turn real sour too.
you know what? I'm so sick. I'm so sick of the bullshit in the community. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I'm so sick of the bullshit in the community and the fact that it's so counterproductive and there are babies dying, being murdered. I'm like, I don't even give a
Yeah,
fuck. I'm because listen, the people are not buying the property. They're not investing in the community. And I know it's because they don't have access to certain resources and some opportunities, but there's just a bad element there that needs to be eradicated. And so, how do you do it? Short of unless you put a task force together and we all just roll Gestapo style through here and just start going in crazy, taking weapons. You can't do that. So, what you got to do is you got to change. You have to redevelop it. You have to repurpose it. Like, okay, well, and sadly, since we're behind the eight ball here, it'll be us who suffer from it. But I'm at the point, and I'm sick of the violence and all that. I'm like, whatever. Do what you got to do to it. Gentrify it. Shit. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. And I don't live in that community either. I don't live in 53206, so that might be easy for me to say because people down there, you don't even live down here. We love this shit. I don't understand why, but I mean, because you should want it to get better too. It's horrible, right? So I don't know. That's a rant for me. I don't care. Gentrify the shit out of it. I don't care. I'm gonna be all right because I'll just work harder to have what I have. You know what I mean? Like that's honestly how I look at it. I'm sorry, black people. Yeah, man. That's on me. I told you the coon in me, man. I get so fed up, man. You ever been so fed up with the violence when I'm seeing little kids killed? I be watching the news saying racist shit, and I'm black. Goddamn nigga. I be saying that shit, watching TV. Damn niggers. It's like it's bad, man. That's how
Hey,
it's
you know, hey Kevin, let's be real though. That ain't the coon in you.
okay.
You
Okay.
know what I mean? That ain't the coon in you. Cause see, everybody should feel like this. Everybody should be willing to do what it takes for their family to be
right.
where they should be. Ain't nothing coonish about that. You know what I mean? Everybody should be like that. Everybody should be trying to stand the fuck up and do what they got to do. Let's be real. Otherwise, take your weak ass on out there
I
and
just
figure it out from there. You know what I mean? Shit, I mean, what the hell, man? I mean, we got to quit pacifying motherfuckers for making bad decisions. It's the decisions that people are making are the reasons they live in the lives they live in. Let's be real and really address this shit. Maybe finally they can hear it so many times and get it.
I mean, okay. So let's and I want to keep this in perspective, right? And I mean every word I say, right? I'm not apologizing because of how I feel. I'm apologizing that the situation is this sad that I
Right.
feel like this. Because I'm a proud man of color, man. I really
Right.
believe in black
Yeah.
empowerment. I really believe in black people doing what they need to do. But I'm sick of the bullshit. And I keep saying, when y'all gonna get tired of this? This shit don't get old. And you see you already know how this movie ends when you sit down and start watching it. It's the same shit that we've been going for 60 years, 70 years. We've been doing this. Okay, boom, 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 pow, pow, kill, whatever. And it's like, damn, in 2022, my people ain't progressed far enough. And we know the white man, well, we know what the white man does. I am fully aware of the systematic nature of racism and segregation and discrimination in this country. As a black man, I don't know how you could not be. Fully aware of the glass ceiling, fully aware of the limitations that they try to place on you as a person of color when you're trying to rise. I get all that. But a lot of this shit we doing, this ain't white people doing this. This ain't no Klan. This ain't no white supremacist. This is the same shit it was Two motherfuckers get to arguing because we both drunk. Bang, bang, bang. We shoot it out, kill each other. Two motherfuckers get to argue about what block they from, what symbol they got on their goddamn shirt. Oh, you got on blue, I got on red. What? I'm two motherfuckers fighting over a street, and neither one of them own property on the street that they're fighting over. How dumb this shit is, right? And it just don't stop. And I'm like, damn, dog. When it's like the stolies and the reckless drivers, and this is for young people. Don't y'all realize y'all the ones getting fucked up because people are dying, innocent people are getting hit, but they're the ones getting fucked up more than anybody because a lot of times they don't kill somebody, they fuck themselves up. And I have mercy on the youth, but I'm saying when y'all gonna learn? When y'all gonna see? How many of us you walk around with a t-shirt on? You got a hat on with some sparkles and some glitter on it with rest in peace to so and so. Don't that shit get old? You don't get tired of that? Oh, this motherfucker got shot. Oh, he got killed. You just out here. I'm in and out the penitentiary. I'm not trying to preach, man. I'm just saying black people got to get to the point where they be like, fuck it, enough is enough. Right? Enough is enough. We stop all this shit. Fuck all this. Because all of us poor anyways. That's the craziest thing about it. Two cats in the hood shooting at each other, battling over maybe some turf or some. I said turf. That shows how old I am. But you said turf and shit. Battling over whatever it is that they battling over is so temporary. He robbed me for some cocaine. He robbed me for some pills or some weed. They broke in my house, stole my shit. Go shoot this motherfucker. You go and hit everybody except him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just tired of this shit. I'm just tired of all of the stupidity, man. Like I feel like we being stupid on purpose. Right now, I'm like, I get you, Rock. You're right. Poor is a mindset. We talk about the mindset of poverty, y'all. Y'all jump in here with me on this, man, because I'm out in deep water. I don't, I'm just not that I don't love my people, but I'm sick of the bullshit.
You know what I mean? You can't tell somebody to be fed up with all this shit that's going on when they doing this shit that's going on because they hungry.
Right.
You know?
Or because they 2-3 generations into it. Like some of these cats you talking about, their father was idiots. You know, I'm like that. But like that's all they know is that life. You know what I'm saying? They father in it, they mama in it. You know what I'm saying? They grandmama probably was in it. I know grandmamas that's 40, 50 years old that's still ratchet. You know what I'm saying? So
they say that's just how it is. You know what I mean? That's what they think. That's just how it is. They don't know no different.
Right, and you got to know better to do better. I mean, a lot of people hear of better, but like, okay, so like even one of the things I do, like the reason I try to be so successful is so I can be an example to my children. People hear about success all day long. Somebody always tell them what they should be doing and could be doing, but it ain't too many people doing it that can show versus tell. So, so it's that's how I try to fight it. That's how I try to overcome it, by being that example to show people that it can be done. Hey, you ain't got no job, you ain't got no money. You got a phone, you got YouTube. Hop on YouTube, learn some shit, retell it in a way that your demographic can eat it up. Because sometimes that's what you do. Learn something. Like that's what I do. I like to learn things, but I digest it in a way that I can present it to other people in a way that they can digest it. So, I mean, there's ways to make money without any overhead or capital, but unless people know that or somebody can tell them that and then show them how they did it too, all you hearing is about, myths.
Okay. So first of all, we live in the information age, right?
Indeed.
This is the most access to free information we have had up to this point in this country. I get generational poverty. I get saying, damn, my pops was a wild boy. My mom was a wild sister. This neighborhood is fucked up. I see, but you got examples of what not to do all around you. You see what happens to the drug addict. You see what happens to the drug dealer. You see what happens to these different people. So at one point, you say, okay, I have to do something better? That's what I'm saying. Like, at what point do we get tired of it? Because I feel like we try to pacify ourselves and make excuses about it. We got a caller on the line. Caller, you are live on Outlaw Radio. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Rock and bro, top of it.
What's happening, Rock? What's going on with you, bro?
You know what, Kev?
What's good?
Let me ask you a cold question.
Okay.
How many young men are you mentoring right now?
Directly, I'm I'm a little bit past that stage, but I mean, I still work with young people on a large
Can't be
scale.
past that stage. You got a young son.
Oh, I forgot about him. I don't count him as mentoring. That's my son,
What I'm
right?
saying is, what you just said you was past that stage, but you still dealing with a teenager, so you in that stage.
Okay, okay, I stand corrected in that regard. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so once again, how many people are you mentoring right now?
It's a few. I'm involved in a few with a few.
Okay, you got a doctor's degree, right?
I'm damn near. I'm doctor-ish. I'm not quite across the threshold.
You're smarter. You're smarter than all of us. Okay, watch this. Not when I first met you, but the first time I saw you over in this hood, right?
Right.
You had your hat broke deep to the left.
That's right.
You was standing on 10 toes.
Right.
Everybody over here was broke dead to the right. They were standing on 10 toes.
Exactly.
You went from 10 toes down, standing in this hood, and ended up getting cool with everybody that was a whole different something else, right?
Yeah. It was love.
All the way to being able to agree to disagree as damn near doctors do, right?
Right.
And like my grandmother say, you ain't learning nobody nothing,
huh? No.
So how they supposed to learn? How they supposed to learn?
Hold on.
We talking about it, but you the teacher, boss.
I feel like you're missing an important part of that story, though.
No, the important part is everybody who took away don't give back.
I get that, but I'm saying I got tired of it. Like you're right.
Boss,
I was doing that. I got to a point where
tired of it.
Man, please. I got tired of cats getting killed, going to jail, being in drama.
That wasn't it.
I got tired of that.
Wasn't it. No, that wasn't it.
What did I get tired of?
You just grew up a little bit.
Okay.
But think about this. Everything that you know bad, you learn that shit on your own because you came from two parents. You came from don't do. You had to learn that shit on your own, right?
Yes, I did.
So you taught yourself gangster. And then you taught yourself how to keep yourself in education all the way to doctor's degree, but you can't learn.
I can tell them, and I can tell them.
See, the whole shit is this. If you gonna have even the army build a soldier, it takes some nut ass niggas and teach them how to kill. You got to take some nut ass niggas and put some education in them, boss, because you the one can do it. You can tell them, man, I used to be out here in real life. I step in the ring with you. Or I could sit down and teach you how to read, because I bet you if I tell you niggas to read, y'all all shut the fuck up.
Nah, I don't work with so many youngsters, man. For real. I hear what you're saying, but I don't even with myself. It was on me to figure out that was the wrong way to go. I could have used that excuse because you're right, two parents and all that. There's a lot of crazy shit going on there, in the neighborhood, in the community. I could have said, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep. It took me to say, you know what? I am sick of this shit. This shit no longer makes sense to me. I'm walking off. I'm gonna do something better.
Or it took you to see just some other type of man, and you was like, man, I'm finna go ahead on.
Yeah, dead man. I didn't want to be him.
Well, I put it to you like this. I wasn't gonna die. I feel like a lot of people learned a lot being around.
Yeah.
Just being around, even seeing, getting a different kind of paper. Sometimes you like, damn, if I ain't getting but this just working.
Yeah, man. I want to thank you for calling. Is you advertising your services? Like
No, not never.
Okay.
I'm advertising you, man. Y'all keep pushing love.
Oh man, my brother, man, Rock. And I had to tell Rock put a lot of ism in my head as a youngster. Like I've known this brother for a very long time. Shout out to Rock. He put a lot in my head too as a youngster. When I first came home from school, as a matter of fact, we lived in the same, me, him, and his younger brother. And it was a wild place, right? It was wild. It was like a hotel and / club, right? Like it was wild. But Rock put me up on a lot of stuff. So shout out to him. Listen to your elders, man. Respect your elders. But no, I'm saying even me. I don't duck behind none of the dumb shit I did as a youngster. Because if you meet somebody who knew me, they're gonna say, that motherfucker used to be dumb as hell, right? Like not dumb and wise, but just on some dumb, stupid street, what I thought was street shit. It's not really like, what are you doing? "Oh, you the preacher's son. Go read a Bible or something." That's what somebody should have told me, but nobody told me that, right? So I'm just saying, but it was on me to make the decision. I said, "Nah, man, I don't want this long term." Man, I don't know how many times when you out here and you go out with your friends, when you rolling with a big clique, you rolling with a big group, you go out, you 20 deep, you fight. Somebody gonna get drunk and fall out. Somebody getting into it with a girl. You get home, the phone still ringing at 4 in the morning. Man, come over here and get dog, man. All of this bullshit, and it all always ends up the same way. Somebody going to jail, somebody getting hurt, somebody dying. So when do we as black people say, okay, enough of that shit? I don't know how we get young people to understand that they have to stop killing each other. Like young brothers I mean, people say, Kev, they in the streets, they in the game. But do they ever get to a point where they say, you know what, we could probably get more money if we wasn't killing each other? The block wouldn't be as hot. You know what I'm saying? Like if we just got real smooth about how we did business, we probably would. When does that mindset kick in?
You know what, fam? Honestly, because just like what you said, how we could get more money if we're not killing each other. It seemed like nowadays value is placed on gaining people to hate you. You know what I'm saying? Like people determine how cool they are by being able to take another man's woman or something like that, or you know, like there's things within the culture that perpetuates dumb shit and violence. You know what I'm saying? Because now people feel like if you ain't got a hater, you ain't doing nothing or something. It's like,
right? Yeah.
I don't know if I got haters or not. I'm too busy focused on the people that show me love. You know, but when you think about the culture and shit like that, women want women to hate them. Like you know, like I used to just think about the club because when I was going through my divorce and shit, and I didn't want to be at home by myself, I never liked the club. Never, just never did. To me, it was first I got to pay $20-$40 to get in. I probably you know like I never liked it, but I used to sit there and I used to sit there and watch the interactions and stuff, and like it'd be like, okay, there's a female coming in here trying to show as much ass as legally possible. And then there's a guy in here trying to throw money and show that he's, you know, got it like that. And like the motive, I guess, is to be chose or something. But it's like when I used to think about it, man, some women wanted women in the club to hate. I'm about to go in here and make all these hoes mad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a mentality that some people get that just perpetuate the dumb shit.
That's what I'm saying. When do we do away with that? That's bullshit. When do we start saying that's not cool and telling our friends when they like that? That's not cool, man. I'm not going nowhere with you. You be all every time. I done had a friend where I had to tell him, hey man, listen, man, I ain't going nowhere else with your ass. Every time we go somewhere, motherfucker, I got to end up goddamn. We duck down behind car like it's like no.
Yeah.
Enough is enough, man. So yeah,
it's got to be a point in time when we stop glorifying bullshit.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Because while we glorifying the bullshit, is we're making people want the wrong shit out of each other.
Right.
You know, one of the reasons why I stopped liking going to the club is because people energy was in the wrong place. You know what I mean? Everybody intent fucked up in the club. You know what I mean? The women, they want the niggas with the money. The niggas with the money want the women's with the showing all the ass, like Real just said. You know what I mean? So everybody looking for the wrong shit out of each other. You know what I'm saying?
Real, you was talking about the strip club. I've never been to strip club. I never really. I thought
I
about
never
bars and clubs.
I'm talking about regular clubs.
Damn good time in the club.
No, this is regular clubs where they trying to be naked. Then a motherfucker touch their ass. I mean, I ain't saying no matter how women dress, you know, always get consent. But at the same time, it's like this motherfucker drunk. He out his mind. The music that's playing telling him to disrespect women and fight niggas. And then you come in this environment thinking that you about to get some wholesome shit. You know, but like, so like I always, you know me, I'm always like, I like to cut out the middleman. So I used to be like, okay, women showing as much ass to be chose, dudes showing cash that they don't plan on spending or giving it. Just like, are they doing this whole facade so that they feel better about connecting? Because they can go to the stroll and just cut the bullshit. You trying to be chose, he trying to be chose.
If you
But
going to the club, if you going to the club looking for something wholesome, something's wrong with you anyway. Went to the club looking for nothing wholesome. Like when we went out, we didn't say, man, I hope I find the church girl tonight. Nobody was
right.
it. It's like, man, hey, you know how people do it. So that's what I'm saying. When you get to a point where that lifestyle
nowadays you go to the club, meet a girl, and she don't even look the same tomorrow.
Might not be the same girl. It might be a dude.
You know, look the same tomorrow.
See, I always like lounges. I always like kicking it with the older cats and women, and I love stepping.
Even that
Like
whole thing.
I love watching steppers step.
Even that whole thing, I'm above. Now I'm at the point where me personally as an individual, I don't want to go to no. I'm not looking for no girl or nothing like that. So I'm cool, right? I'm not. So I'm definitely not gonna go there saying I hope I go find something wholesome. But no, I wanted y'all to think about this too. We have a new member of the weirdo clan. We have a new member, DJ Envy. Give it up for DJ Envy. And this is what people got. Somebody got mad at me because I put this story in the People's News Network. I talked about this last night on the Big Black Sports Show. DJ Envy and his wife, for some reason, she came on the Breakfast Club and stated that she faked orgasms. She has faked orgasms for 10 years in their marriage, and that because he couldn't please her and she didn't want to let him down. And so she's been faking orgasms in their marriage. Now, people said, why do I need to know that? Which I totally agree. But I would ask him and her that. Why do we need to know that? It's more this Will Smith. I told y'all these weirdo Hollywood, Dwayne Wade, Will Smith, all these kinds of Hollywood weird dudes who are in these unconventional situations where people say, well, it's about them talking about their relationship. Why do we need to, as a man, how would you feel if your girl said, I wrote a book, and in this book I said, for the first 10 years of our marriage, we've been married 20 years, you half the marriage, you faked your orgasms. If that's a fact and that's something that we need to discuss, I feel like we could talk about that. I don't need you to put that in the book. So how would y'all feel if y'all girl say, hey, baby, I'm just going to come out and tell everybody that I faked my orgasms with you for the first 10 years of our relationship?
I mean, you know what? I ain't even going to sit here and lie and act like I know how I would act. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't been in that situation. But like just from the outside looking in, usually this shit jump off when they got a book to sell. So it might be an exit. Shit, it might be that Jada Pinkett business marketing strategy. You know what I'm saying? Just to but on the flip side of that though, because I did see I think I heard some of it on the Breakfast Club when I was dropping my daughter off at school the other day. And I think they are coming out with a book about relationship.
She has a book, right?
Okay, so on the flip side of that, we can't afford to. I mean, if we trying to heal as a culture, we can't afford to be scared of vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know where she was coming from with what she was saying, but I mean, maybe it's a relationship book. I don't know. I have to do a little more digging. But maybe it's a relationship book, and she was just showing that within their relationships, they wasn't on that connected level for the first 10 years. You know, maybe he was just, trying to fuck real quick and go to sleep or something. I don't know.
Or maybe we giving them too many excuses instead of just saying this is bullshit, right?
I mean, that's definitely a perception. I try to be a little more objective and try to figure out.
No.
I think it's probably just an excellent marketing strategy because I'm sure plenty of women are going to go and buy that book now because they probably been lying too.
But the question was, how would
I feel? See, and to that I can't even express it.
You spent that code.
I mean, because I can't say, like, you know what, man? Real shit. My divorce taught me to not answer hypothetical questions because when the shit come down, the answer ain't never the same when it happens.
You never know.
Right.
Hey, man. But what could a motherfucker say, man?
Right.
Like, what could you say to save face, right?
I still fuck.
I got mine. Hey.
And I still fuck. Like, you know me, I'm a Taurus, man. I don't give a fuck.
No,
You know,
Man,
that's probably what I would say. I still fucked and I'm still fucking now. So
no,
you
they're
just gotta deal
married.
with it. You just gotta deal with it. You gotta suck it up, man.
right.
Hey, so okay, I see people. Shout out to John Fletcher. He said, you know, she full of shit. She said, he said she wouldn't have stayed past the first few months. She just said that to sell the book. Okay, if that's the case, if that's the scenario, and my wife bounces that idea off of me, like, hey, I know what. In order to sell his book, I'm gonna say, I'd be like, no, don't put that shit in there about me. Say you had a boyfriend before we got married, and that's how I came in and say today. Like, don't.
Hey, let's think of some more. Let's think of some other bullshit to write.
Right. Why is that? Like, that's right. Let's do that. Like, who agreed to that shit? Right. Like, so it's once again where we're standing at as black men. And and to me, this ain't a question of vulnerability, right? Right, like because you are the philosopher on the show, so you talk about emotional intelligence and emotional maturity. This is not about vulnerability, right?
Okay,
like this,
for sure.
this is not about that because I don't think. In order to be or show my vulnerability, I need to say, well, you know, I can't make my wife have an orgasm. I don't mean that. Like, I should be like, man, I'll never. You know, I don't feel like that's what
I don't know the context of it. Like, is this book more for women who is she trying to get more women in who also haven't been satisfied? Or
listen,
okay.
Man. Anytime anybody asks me the question, hey, listen, no comment. No comment.
This is why,
anything you say is gonna look worse.
It can be held against you in the
court. You know what I mean? It's gonna look worse and worse. Every time you say something, you try to come up with some kind of excuse, anything, right? Like no comment, or you got to try to cut back. Well, I got mine.
Okay, I feel like this. John Fletcher said it's about the money. And I know, but this brother, he's well off financially. But here, so I don't think it's necessarily about the money. But once again, this whole, and I noticed that on the Breakfast Club, they kind of stress, you know, get therapy and black men and being open and being more. And once again, I feel like you're compromising masculinity. You're doing it because somebody who sold Prince books talked you into doing it. You selling our masculinity. So put a price tag on your booty and say masculinity.
I don't think they mean like transparent like that. Like, goddamn, okay. You know what I mean? That's between you and him. You know what I mean? They talking about your personal issue.
Right. That's what I'm
saying. In the book.
Now you talking about his personal issue. Something you couldn't do. You dig what I'm saying? And that's the problem. So you know what I mean? It ain't that's more of like a malicious intent, I feel like.
And not even acknowledging the fact that this could potentially be a real point of contention for him, because he could possibly, wherever he goes now, this becomes kind of like, you know, oh shit, come in, what up, little dog? You know, and all of a sudden what happens?
No comment. No comment.
You know, this is what happened to Will. Like, so people are saying, well, people don't understand Will and Jada because they had an open relationship, whatever, yada 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 yada. Okay, keep this. Is there certain shit you should keep to yourself, right? Like, that's just the way it is. Now, if you are saying, well, I'm all in, right? I'm going full retard for the book. I'm putting it all out there. I'm trying to sell all the copies. I get it from that perspective. But I feel like as a man, it makes you look very compromised for your woman to come out and shout to the world that for 10 years, 10 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, she faked her orgasms with you, and you were trying as hard. This is what she said. He was trying as hard as he could, and it just wasn't working. And I didn't want to break the news.
How did she know he was trying as hard as he could? That's what
he said it.
Maybe he was just trying to, you know, for her sake. But you know what I mean? Maybe he was just trying to get his and be done. Like, I'm out of here. So maybe that was his whole agenda.
So okay, this would be a cold brew if in his book he come out and say, I was bullshit for 10 years with my wife. I really just trying to hit and quit because I had so many broads on the side. I wasn't ever really serious with her. I would just give her some away. Like, now women would be like, oh, you out of order.
Yeah, right. That's what I was just finna say. That's what I was just saying. Now he's a bad guy.
Right, man. Come on, man.
But I Kev, now he being transparent, right? Now he being transparent and real, and motherfucker don't want it.
Right.
You
That
gonna
I mean, that happens a lot, you know.
come on, baby, show some vulnerability. I mean, come on, man. I just think if we want to talk about relationships and we want to, because I've been married 20-something years, and we can have a conversation about the ins and outs and highs and lows and wins and woes of marriage without talking about anything in the bedroom. It don't even have to be addressed. And I would hope that my woman will respect me enough to not put me out there like that. Like this is a respect thing. Like, because once again, now he go wherever he go, it's a running joke. You are officially a joke now wherever you go, because you're like, oh man, ain't you the dude who yeah, man, that's me. Like, we all know, and nobody's gonna read the book. That book ain't gonna sell like that, man. She ain't gonna sell like that, man. John Fletcher says she's trying to get both men and women to buy the book because people will get curious to find out what made her stay after 10 years of being unsatisfied. She's full of shit. She had 2 kids back to back after the first few years of marriage. Well, we know what made her stay. The money. He's paid. He's rich. They make a fat ticket, and he's in demand DJ. He put his cars and his wealth all on blast. He's rich. That's what made her stay. We know that. So that's why I say this is game. This is all bullshit, and it should be assigned to him. Now, I don't know how long ago she told him, because he said, I was trying my best. I was doing everything I could. He was the little, the little train that go, the little engine that could. I guess in the room. I'm trying to get it there. But he, to me, he should be looking at this like, I don't understand why I had to be put out here like this. Like, why did you put my mama hurt? Like, is his parents still alive? My mama got to hear this. Damn, baby, she faked it for 10 years. I don't want to have that conversation. I feel like he's fraud,
No comment. No comment. No comment.
I mean, I hear it all, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, in my other counseling services, I hear it all. Like, I mean, there's women who tell you shit that they feel they can't tell they man. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Tiarsha Arthur. I'm sorry. I called her John Fletcher. She said, wipe your flip phone off. Always get me with the flip phone jokes when I fuck up on the name. Oh, man. Shout out to Tiarsha Arthur, man. Always get me, too. And she be like, your damn flip phone. Kamar got her thinking I'm doing the show from a damn, what's that phone back in the days that flip everybody used to want, Kamar?
You got a razor.
Razor or the Motorola joint way back in the days. Everybody, I can't remember the name.
Prime was no flip phone.
A StarTAC, ain't that what they used to call it? The StarTAC.
No, I ain't gonna tell them. There was a bunch of flip phones.
Oh yeah, man.
The razor was a good one, so I gave you some credit. I gave you the razor. You got the razor. You got the upgrade flip phone.
Right. This is as sophisticated as my setup has ever been, which is the funniest part about it. So, like, I just can't read sometimes. That's what you got to blame it on. Not the equipment, my illiteracy. Because I'll call somebody. I'm telling you, I butcher names. Like, I be trying to shout out, and I'm struggling with it right now. I be trying to shout out my brother from Hitting Hard Radio, Sair, and I say his name wrong every time. And I think I'm saying it wrong right now. But the brother, he be checking out the show. I be checking him out. We were talking about doing some cross collaboration where we go on there and he come on here. Sarai Williams. I mess his name up all the time because of how it's spelled. It throws me off. Yeah. So players fuck up. But yeah, man. Happy 420, man. How y'all celebrating 420 out there? Y'all let me know. Huh?
Shit, I'm high right now.
Right. You already said it's 420 like for you every day, and we know because on the show you be blowing them back like. So yeah, I think that first it depends on your personality. I think some people with marijuana is cool for them. Like I think everybody has their thing, right? Like because I know some dudes who can drink whiskey and just sip it and be cool and just chill. First of all, I can't drink whiskey.
Right?
Yeah? And then it's disgusting to me. I'm like, ugh. And even if I drink it after 3 or 4 shots, I'm like, I'm finna Earl. I just can't do it. It's cats who sit up and smoke big fat stogies and just puff them. And I'll be like, wow, I can't do it. I'll smoke a Black and Mild and they be looking at me like, hey, you smoke that cheap ass shit. So everybody has their thing. Right?
I used to smoke blacks when I was somewhere that I couldn't grab weed. And it used to give me a headache like that black Man, that black buzz is a different kind of animal there.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody has their thing. So I think for some
Right.
people, marijuana is like I know I was when I was younger, I was an uptight kind of, you know, aggressive, angry type of youngster. So when I did find weed, I was like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, that music sound good. Turn that up. Like, man, I want to eat them chips one chip at a time. Like it made me relax. Like, and I'm like, man, I'm savoring this.
You
Like me and my
know,
friends will watch movies and we didn't want to go run the streets and hang out. We like, man, let's watch House Party again. So it was for me, it was a good thing because it calmed me down. For some people, it makes them lazy. You know, people be like, man, my brother used to always trip because he'd be like, I can't drive. When he smoked weed, he'd be like, he can't drive because he'd be tripping while he's driving. Like,
yeah,
good,
yeah.
okay, pull over, man. Let me drive, right? You had to. But but everybody has a thing. And I think marijuana, that's the marijuana debate because I think people are
See,
scared of
well,
what it looks like if
oh,
it's
I'm sorry.
legal. Go ahead, go
Okay,
ahead.
well, the thing is, I tell you know, and that's one of my passions, man. Just like that one there, relationship, spirituality, and plant medicine is one of my passions. Because just like you said with weed, there's two different kind of weed smokers. There's the weed head who just want to get high, and then there's the cannabis connoisseur who wants to know. Okay, so just like you says, it makes some people lazy. First off, we have to know our cultivars or strains. You know, whether like I have daytime smoke, I have nighttime smoke. Indicas are more so nighttime smoke. They're gonna put you on your ass. They're gonna make you want to eat a lot. They're gonna make your eyes red. But then you have daytime smoke that some of it, you know, some of them get me up, make me active. Like there's one that like I've been able to work out for the past 2 weeks because, and I really think it's because this is one of those get up and goes. It's one of more of those sativas. So education is very important. And I try to teach people cannabis has so many different health benefits, and you could actually enjoy the benefits without the high if you don't want to get high. So you can consume cannabis and not get high if that's your goal, just to have the health benefits, because the THCA is not psychoactive. You have to, it's called decarboxylate or add heat to it, which turns the THCA, it makes it drop the acid and just become THC that makes people high. So it's all about education and knowing what is what. You know, a lot of people say it makes them paranoid. Yeah, there are strains, especially if they're higher in THC, that make you paranoid. But that's why you need a full strain which might have just as much CBD. So it's a whole culture to it,
Right.
and I guess you could get as deep as you want. Like I said, most people, they be like, "Hey, what you smoking?" I don't know, but it's loud though. It's like, oh, okay, no, I like to know the name of my shit so I can go look it up, so I
Yeah,
can
until
compare it,
they
and
came
you know.
with all kinds of
Hey, here's the
crazy
thing
ass
about that,
names.
though.
Like this
Hey,
head buster. I don't want none of that.
hey, yo, the thing, hey, real, it go the difference, right? Like
Yeah,
from my, like we come from an era where it wasn't no names of the weed.
right,
So
right.
you know what I mean? Like to us, yeah, it never mattered. I've been smoking weed for shit. Like that's how long, right? Like I don't remember a time when I wasn't smoking weed. You know
Right.
what I mean? So like all these years, I never had to think about what the name of the
I
weed,
feel
what
you.
kind of weed it was, and nothing like that. So now it's like I'm at a point where shit, I just want some good weed.
Right, right. See,
I
yeah, I
ain't
know.
thinking about the
I
names and all that shit, man. Just give me some good weed. Let me smoke this good weed and
right.
keep it moving. But you know what I mean? I know what you're talking about the difference, you know what I mean, with the
Right,
indica
and
stuff.
plus there were connoisseurs all, you know, because like I know a lot of older cats who I've talked to before, and they still be you know, people always go, man, I wish you was around when they had tie stick. I'm like, oh, I don't even know what that is, fam. But you know, like they still had their shit, you know
Yeah,
that they.
yeah. Okay, it was a stick. You actually get a stick. You have to break it off the stick and bust it down and mix it in your weed and shit. Or you could put it in or you would put it in a bowl and smoke it
Okay.
like
Um,
See, I've never seen it in my life, man.
so
yeah, they
Tiasha
stopped
Arthur,
doing that back in the 80s probably.
I'm
Okay.
wiping off
90s,
my
90s, 80s.
making sure I wipe my flip phone off. Tiasha Arthur said people that smoke marijuana every day
No, it
shouldn't
was
even be celebrating 420. She said people that smoke here and there should be the only ones celebrating. And then she Mariel. She said some marijuana makes you clean up your whole house, some make you paranoid, some make you out of giggles. And you are right, Rail. She's agreeing with you.
Oh, I
Okay, so
appreciate
we
that.
know, that's why I alluded to earlier. There's a whole culture behind this,
Yeah.
and it's very profitable culture, right? Like from just paraphernalia and like people. If weed is legal and it's decriminalized, the number of people who wearing t-shirts with marijuana messages on them, jackets, coats, shoes, there'll be Air Force Ones with weed plants designs, and this is a whole boom. It's a boom to our
Hey,
economy.
you know the last time, hey, the last time I was in Vegas, or the last time I was in Vegas at the dispensary, my bad. But my things paused or something. I didn't know if you was talking.
It's
But
all good.
my last time I was in Vegas, you know what I mean? I'm in the dispensary and I was learning about like it's I forgot the different names that they was, but like it's different stuff that you look for in the weed that will make you
Mm-hmm.
cough. It's different stuff you look for in the weed. The okay, if it's gonna be how fruity it is. You know what I mean? Some
Yeah.
people be fruity. So you know what I mean? There's different percentages of different stuff which you would look for.
They
So
call terpenes.
you could damn near narrow it down to the type of weed that you want to buy.
Right.
Okay, I want some weed that don't make you cough, but it's real fruity. So you know what I'm saying? And it's high in THC. Like, you know what I mean? You can pretty much pick out the type of weed that you want or the type of effects that you're looking for.
You know, the wild thing is, like, as this get commercial, just like with anything else that mainstream capitalism get a hold of, it gets watered down. Like, like if you go to the dispensaries, one of the things they selling point is the THC percentage, and the
Yeah.
average consumer doesn't understand that your body only absorbs so much THC. So if you got a 25% THC weed and your body only absorbs 10%, you just cashed out the ass for an extra 15% that you really ain't getting no benefit from. But again, without the education, like you was saying, Kamar, it's about the terpenes. The terpenes is what gives you the effects that you like. If you want
Yeah.
something more fruity, if you want something to combat anxiety or depression, you would look for more limonene. That's the same terpene that give lemons its smell. But it's
Fruity.
good for anxiety and depression.
Fruity.
If you want
Fruity.
something pain killing, you will fuck with more myrcenes. That terpene is in mangoes. It actually helps more THC cross the brain blood barrier. So if you wanted to get more bang for your buck with weed, eat some mangoes before you smoke. So it's just like the education needs to be there.
I don't. I think the most important thing is if you got to smoke weed to get up out the bed, you need some help. If weed is interfering with your relationship, with your children,
Right.
wife, you need some help. If you need weed to boost your self-esteem, you need some help. Honestly, if you have a problem with your appetite, you say appetite stimulant. You need some you need to go see somebody about that too. You can't just lean on anything can become a problem. Too much of anything is too much,
Exactly.
right? And I think what happens a lot of times with weed is people overconsume. You just touched on it. I'm gonna go buy these moon rock shit because they said they got this concentration and this percentage. I'm gonna go buy this, and we gonna sit up here and smoke all of it. And we
Capitalism.
are driving our tolerance through the roof to the point where now consuming some quality weed don't even register. So you need something else. This is how you end up moving up. Man, just pop this perk then. Try this or pop this bite. So that's what I'm saying. This is what happens with drugs, and I'm calling it a drug. People, and I'm not against weed, but I'm saying there's a culture to drug usage and drugs, any kind of substance you take. So once you start getting high, you start hanging around a different kind of people, right? You don't just jump in the game knowing the ketamines and the petamines and the epitamines and the EPMDs and 1, 2, 3s. You don't know all that when you first start smoking weed. You smoking with a bunch of dudes, y'all rolling up one joint. Good thing COVID wasn't around because we all probably be ghosts.
Yeah.
Roll a blunt, you lick the blunt and all spit and all kinds of stuff. And we all smoke it, right? Like that's what we did. So you dealt with a certain element. right? So now you get an introduction into the streets, how the streets work, and that's the kind of element that's dangerous with it, because the drug culture can become counterproductive in any community. I want to make sure if it's legal, we do something to stop kids that are very young from getting a hold to it. Like how now you got to be 21. They say you got to be 21 to buy liquor. We know young people still get it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's less than it would be if there was no parameters on it. So if it's a situation where you got to be 18 to purchase or 21, I would say put that on there. If you're going to legalize it and decriminalize it, don't just make it so that it's so accessible to everybody, because it's going to damage the babies worse than anybody. It's going to damage a little 8-9-year-old dude who already smoked out his mind by the time he's 12. The future ain't looking too bright for this dude unless he's like a reggae singer or some shit.
But to that, what I would like to say, and I'm glad you brought that up, because these are great points that a lot of people feel like that's that old like Nancy Reagan gateway drug shit. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And the reality is, it's scientifically been proven that marijuana, you cannot get addicted to weed or marijuana. You can form a habit just like you form anything else. But to like you were saying, if you can't get out the bed without weed, there's people who are addicted to any and everything. But I think what happens is, just like this being called smoke and mirrors, so many people are. Oh, okay, perfect example. When I worked in call centers and shit, every manager I had, every manager I had usually was a middle-aged white woman, some shit like that. Every manager I had could not start their day without their morning Mountain Dew. Like, they would have a cup of coffee and either a morning Mountain Dew, a Coca-Cola, a Pepsi, but it was something caffeine, because what people don't understand, caffeine is a drug. So, and then, so it's like we pick our stimulants and drugs and what we feel are the bottom of the rack, versus, sugar hits 8 times more receptors as cocaine. So just like when you were saying to children, think about this, and I'll look anybody dead in the eye and say, marijuana is safer and more beneficial to your child, even though I do not give it to children, and I will not, I think everybody should be an adult and educated first, but marijuana is safer than the cereal that the average person is quick to give their child, that's full of genetically modified wheat that's been powdered with all kinds of refined sugars, and then wonder why they can't sit their ass still in class. So then they get labeled as hyperactive, put on Ritalin, which is a molecule away from cocaine. So you know what I'm saying? It's again through education and the undemonizing of this, because like I said, it has so many more benefits, and those people who can't get out the bed without smoking that shit, if they didn't have weed, they would have something else, because the weed isn't the issue. The needing to cope with life is the issue. And they'll find food, they'll find liquor, they'll find whatever the hell to cope with life.
I know this ain't. I want people. People, make sure you chime in to the chat room, and you still got time to call. And this ain't. I'm not anti-weed at all.
Right.
So I don't want people to tune in.
But no, it's just for people who are watching.
But for people who listening, if they just tuning in,
right?
It's 4:20, so we're obviously having this discussion because I'm talking about decriminalization versus recreational, like, and why it should be versus why it shouldn't be. We looking at the whole perspective. But I will say this: I do agree with you about the Mountain Dew and all of that. But you know what? So the deal with that is, as a parent, I regulate that with my kids too. Right. So I don't. That's another substance that I know can be harmful to them. So I would say, yeah, don't get on Mountain Dew and all that. It's all an addiction. You are correct in that regard. But as far as the Nancy Reagan thing goes, I know from life experiences, I know from the reality of living, I know brothers who started damn near the same day I did, smoking marijuana, drinking beer, drinking 40s, whatever, and them some bitches powder, pill popping, crackhead, whatever.
They was gonna progress anyway.
But it all started with weed, though. It all started with weed.
I know, no, Kev, look, I think everybody just started smoking weed, and different people made different decisions along the way.
Right.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but the weed had something to do with it.
Because even still, you choose to do something different. It's a decision. The weed didn't make you do it. The weed, you didn't get high one day and say, you know what, I'm high, but if I could just get higher,
Right.
you know what I mean? Not only that, you got to remember too, you know what I mean? Not only that, but you got to remember, like, different drugs, you're going to get different highs. You know what I mean? It's going to be different effects. So you can't just think that if I try a different drug, I'm going to get higher, because it ain't going to be that higher weed feeling. It's going to be a higher fucked up, some other type of shit feeling, you know?
Hindsight is 20/20. You don't know that until you done tried other drugs. That sounds like some shit you say in rehab. Like, I didn't know it was just.
But see, and the reason why I feel like this, Kev, because you know what I mean, me and you never went off the deep end. Been smoking weed forever. It never made us feel like I need another drug. I need to get higher. You know what I'm saying? I know a whole bunch of people who've been smoking weed just like I have that never said, you know what, y'all, we need to smoke. We need to try some crack.
The whole roster culture, they smoked as children up until the seniors, and they don't say, "Hey, let me get some crack and some heroin." Or
Chantel Glenn said, "My mom used to say,
usually people wind up around somebody else who doing that shit, and then they make this conscious decision. You know what? I'm gonna try.
Let me try. Right.
Chantel Gwen said, my mom used to say her son didn't need sweet cereal before school because he would climb the walls. Shout out to Stephanie Bowles. She said, lost in the sauce. Okay, now you said that about, okay, we did, and we've never gone. But, you know, there's been some times in my life where I was doing too much in terms of smoking and in terms of drinking. There's times when it was potentially a problem. And I've gotten in situations because I'm chiefing, partying, I'm having a good time. My tolerance is way up. I'm drinking old English, chasing the E&J, and I'm going out to a club fighting with the bouncers before the end of the night is over. Those are times when the next couple days after that, I'm sitting around like, damn, man, I might be doing too much because I'm smoking goddamn 5-6 blunts a day.
It was that E&J, man. Don't blame that weed.
It was that. Blame it on the E&J, man.
It was that red top. You was
smoking that red top. Hey, if you was just on weed, you wouldn't have got to fight with the bouncer.
Right. That was that E&J, man.
No. Y'all missing the point. Y'all missing the point because I said E&J.
You didn't get high and then say, you know what? I need to drink some 8 bars, some E&J, right, and then go fight a bouncer.
My whole involvement with the whole scenario starts with me smoking weed.
Right.
It starts because I blow big and I smoke 5-6 blunts a day. So I'm geeked, and I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about then.
Right.
More like at this time is when there was just no limit. It never stopped. Like cats, hey, what y'all doing over there? Hey, we sitting here playing a game. Don't come through. Hey, man, don't come empty-handed. We just smoked 3 blunts. This dude's gonna get here, roll up 3. Somebody else gonna call. What y'all doing? Y'all over there smoking? We almost out. All right, I'm gonna grab some. Before you know it, you look in your ashtray and you have 13, 14 roaches, right? Like, so how many dudes wake up the next day and be like, shit, I ain't gotta buy no weed today. I'm just finna get my roaches. So it starts with that. That was the issue for me. When I cut down the whole, I'm chiefing all day long and all this, I started doing other stuff. Therefore, I wasn't in no club. I wasn't drinking, partying with the music turned up in the apartment, slamming tall cans. I'm saying he led me there. So what I had to do was scale it back and say, I'm doing too much. I got to chill. I'm sipping good. I'm smoking good every day. 3, I got to chill. Right. So that's my point.
For sure. And I commend you being able to recognize that within yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope as hell. You know, I would be curious though to wonder, you know, what else was, you know, because like you said, while at that time it was the weed and the drinking and shit, but like the times I got into bullshit, when I step back and look, I was already in a fucked up mind state, and you know what I'm saying. It just that was the series of unfortunate events. But I mean, most definitely, I know people who did smoke and said they, you know, they had a bad experience, and definitely I ain't trying to push it on nobody, you know. I would just like everybody to get the knowledge. That's all. You ain't even got to get the experience. Get the knowledge, and then let the knowledge determine whether or not if you ever want to experience. Because I would rather people fuck with plants and mushrooms versus shit that came out of a lab.
And really, hey, look, and I think really we could really say alcohol is more of the gateway drug.
Yeah. It's
More
done
people
killed more people.
alcohol than they do with smoking weed.
Right.
People.
Weed make you sit down and think. Alcohol make you
I'm still
move and
gonna
not
stand
think.
on.
Alcohol is the gateway drug.
I'm still gonna stand on that. I think it starts with you. If
Yeah,
you
you can. I
start
mean,
smoking weed,
I ain't saying I ain't calling. I ain't saying you wrong. I'm just
Right,
speaking.
right.
no,
For
no,
sure.
no, 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 no. It's all for shits and giggles, right? Like, I mean,
Everybody's story different. You know what I mean? You know where you went wrong,
so
but
to
I'm just saying
master.
that ain't where everybody goes wrong. That's all I'm
No,
saying.
but there's a potential for that to happen. Of course, there's no, you either the norm or you the exception to the rule. I get that. But I'm saying in order to be proactive in protecting kids, we need to have some safeguards so that kids don't get out and say this is medical, it's for men. No, you still developing. Your brain is still developing. You don't even know how to clean your ass yet, and you rolling up backwoods. I think there should be you need to take some steps to make sure that doesn't happen. But I will tell you this: it's really about mastering things and creating enough balance in your life because the when I finally got old enough to realize how marijuana should be used recreationally was when I really had a breakthrough with it. Because when I realized I don't need to smoke 8 blunts in 2 hours. I'm just
Hmm.
sleepy. I'm just hungry and
Right.
sleepy. When I
And you
learned
wasting weed.
when I learned to get quality marijuana and be able to have a bowl or by myself or with a couple homies and not overdoing it and enjoy what I had, it was like okay, now I really get the benefits of this as opposed to we just really literally smoking now just to be smoking because you ain't getting no higher. Like it's like and the blunt is like this big and like you say it's very wasteful, but it leads to some very bad habits. You start keeping yourself incapacitated. Like I know some dudes who they open the door and it's like they remember back in the days, Kamar, you go to one of the homie house, he opened the door and he just
Nigga, it
man,
was my. I was that nigga.
I mean, and we could always go back to the need for mental health advocacy and therapy. I know a lot of people cope, and I mean, if you are unhappy with life, you are going to constantly seek external pacification. So again, that there are people like I'm not disagreeing with you. There are definitely people who can benefit from some professional counseling, as they do whatever they do. I use, but me, I always say knowledge. Even with what you were saying, 4 blunts a day, or in an hour, I like to take tolerance breaks. It's good to take tolerance breaks. Just fast from everything. I mean, it's good to fast from different things so that they don't have vices over you. And I teach people tolerance breaks from cannabis and also the results because as your body detoxes from THC, the REM sleep that you weren't getting because you were going into a kush coma, you go through what's called REM rebound, where your dreams get vivid as fuck. You be having some wild dreams while you on
man,
that
listen,
tolerance break, but
Hey,
you know,
I
yes,
went
I
sir.
to
think.
I went to
I think.
college. I went to college in the 90s. All we did was smoke weed. Anytime I wasn't on a football field in college, we smoked. It was round the clock, 24 hours a day. So you talking about tolerance breaks? The break was when I finally went to sleep. That was and when I woke up, I was usually reaching for the ashtray, like,
I
oh, let
feel
me
you.
before
I
I even
feel
get in the
you,
shower.
man.
Go ahead, Kamar. I just want to throw that out there.
No, I dig it. I was on the flip side of the thing where we was in dope houses and shit, smoking like that all day long. But you
Oh,
know what I mean. But I was just finna say that I think most people that get high to cover up pain or run from pain usually transcend into more different drugs. You know
okay.
what I mean? 'Cause they're looking for something to cope for something. But you know what I mean? I think a lot of us that just grew up smoking weed, it was a recreational thing. It wasn't really to cope for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
And
sure it
so I
was
think
somebody who was coping with something though, Kamar.
I'm just saying for the most part, you know what I mean? As far as we know, is the fellas I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, roll up. You know what I mean? We bored. Like it was more of something to do because we bored too. You know what I mean? And even still now, sometimes if I get bored, I'm sitting around, I find myself not doing nothing. Well, maybe I should roll up. You know?
you know what's wild? I didn't start smoking until I was almost 30. Like I grew up with family that smoked ever since we was kids. And you know, back then I was a heavy Bible thumper, so it was like all I need to get high on is Jesus.
Oh,
You
you
know,
one
so
you
that
was
was
that
me.
dude.
You know, the Holy Ghost is all I need to roll up. You know, I was that I ain't
You
gonna
was
say
that
fool,
dude.
but
Oh,
yeah, I was that dude, man. But then what the
uh,
crazy thing is, round about 2011, I had real bad like man, I had real bad GERD, acid reflux, all kind of shit. So just by me trying to combat it naturally, because what they was trying to prescribe me at the time was some shit. It was called omeprazole, and the few times I took it, I ain't never tasted perm. But you remember how a kitchen smell when somebody was getting their head perm? That's
yeah.
the shit that was like coming up from out my. You know, I could smell that coming from out my stomach from that pill. So I was like, "Ooh, this can't be right." So as I was looking it up and researching natural remedies, I came across an article that was saying how this one particular cultivar or strain called Blue Dream was known for combating GERD. And the crazy thing is, just so happened my people who was kicking it with me, what they had copped at the time was the Blue Dream. So I said, let me try this. Sure as shit, man, I ain't had a problem with that shit ever since.
Wow.
And the pill they tried to put me on now got one of them legal commercials because it increases your chance of kidney failure by 50%.
You said 30. You said you said 30? Man, I had
Yeah,
to be
man.
14 years old the first time I
See,
got
and back then I was a Jesus freak. You know what I'm saying?
oh,
Then you got introduced to heathenism.
Right.
man.
Well, you know what? And
Now
it
you got a
really,
pole in his basement, right?
real shit. That did open my mind because I'm like,
See?
damn, if I
See
got
the
lied
weed.
to,
See?
see, yeah,
Uh-huh.
it showed me that the bullshit game that the world be trying to spend on you. Because I'm like, damn, if they lying about this, what else is they lying about? But you
See,
Right.
that
know,
weed turned you out, got you with stripper poles in your basement and shit. See? I told y'all, man, I be knowing what I'm talking about, man. See? No, I don't know that.
it's over there. It's
Right,
chilling.
see? All that shit started because of weed, right?
The women I was
Nah,
kicking it
man.
with that smoke weed, because you know,
Hey,
weed
man.
smoking women is very.
Now I'm free.
Right. You hear me,
I
you
hit
hear me
the
a lot.
free. Now I'm free.
You'll hear me a lot talk about protecting kids and young people because we did start drinking at 14. We did start smoking weed at 13. And me and my guys, the cats who I grew up with in my peer group, they never stopped. The weed, the
Mm.
liquor, like some of us have gotten to the point where we sober now. I do have a couple homeboys who be like, Kev, I don't fuck around no more. And that's cool. But for the most part, all of us have never stopped. And I got some brothers who went to that next level, right? And now they'd be like, oh man, well, don't trip on this, and it's like, I kind of feel like we started too early. Like I've been very protective of my son. He's 15.
Yeah.
If he came in the house smoked out, I would be so salty. And I
Mm.
would be disappointed in myself because I'd be like, I know he probably done grew up, with daddy. Like, what's daddy doing? He in the garage smoking weed and drinking. He done been me and my guys out barbecuing in the backyard. He growing up, done came out there, everybody buzzed up, having a good time. So I would blame myself and say I had that shit around. So
Mm.
I tell him all the time, you ain't even seen a fourth of the shit I had seen by the time I was 15. Right. So I would just, when I say protect these kids, man, I really mean it because I feel like they get access to too much too early. This is why we getting these whole issues with this sexuality. I think I'm a girl who identifies as a boy who like girls, right? Like it's all kind. If you can't see with this whole Dwayne Wade thing, and I played y'all. Did I play y'all the Charleston White joint? Did I play y'all what Charleston White said about this whole situation? I
I
played it
don't
on
know.
the Big Black Sports Show, right? I played it on the Big Black Sports Show. I want to play a little bit of that before we get out of here, just because number one, Charleston White is one of the biggest characters I've ever heard in my life. But I want to see how much of this, what he says, that you actually think is factual, actual, and how much of it is lost in the foolishness of his delivery. Because I did a show and I talked about cuss words, right? And I
Right,
talked
right.
about how much value does conversation hold if it's got a lot of profanity in it, and does it make any sense? So I'm gonna play a little bit of this for y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think.
For sure.
Yeah. Say somebody tag Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. They got that white boy putting that dick in that boy. They wrong, motherfucker. Say this shit them got say listen. That's a bitch that can't have babies. No, that bitch can't have babies. I'm gonna get my Instagram deleted today. I wouldn't give a damn. I'm sick of this shit. Say goodbye to me on Instagram. Say, I hate you, Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. You really a punk. You living through your son.
Damn.
Out the closet, nigga. You want the boy to play basketball. He couldn't play basketball. So you was the punk that could play basketball. So you want your son to be the punk. You living through the boy like Dion living through his boys on the field. Ain't nothing like watching Dion Sanders out there coaching his boys and they out there getting tackled and being tough. Nigga, fuck you. I hate that bitch. Man, you done got with that woman that can't have baby and now they fucking up your baby. Listen. Ain't nowhere in the world Muddy and them gonna let a white boy come get in the family picture with, man, y'all done fucked up. Man, I'll say this. Tell you, I'm finna lose this shit. This shit done went too motherfucking far. Fuck the LGBT community if anybody down with this shit. Fuck you gay motherfuckers. Say, listen, you bitches gonna ride in hell for this one. Y'all gotta delete this shit. Now every gay motherfucker.
You said who that was?
That is Charleston White, who is a tremendous influencer on YouTube and
okay.
all across social Instagram, all of his platforms, millions of views. Very controversial, similar to a Whack 100, but he has beef with Whack because he hates gang members, and so he always talks about he wants gang members to be shot and killed or thrown in prison because they're detrimental to the community, and so. In that, people say, well, that makes kind of a lot of sense in this kind of thing. But with what the rant he just went on, well, it's like, okay, that's a little too personal. I feel strong. Like we expressed our opinion on the Dwayne Wade thing, right? We disagree with it. We said Dwayne Wade that we don't agree with that, right? And I felt like it's a real kind of nefarious kind of plotting and pushing of an agenda that's just kind of that's the move right now. But damn, I don't feel that like I hate this bitch and you funky ass bitch and your it's for entertainment, I guess. But this is the energy that's in the atmosphere. What y'all think about what he had to say?
I don't agree with the energy of it, what he said, but it's a lot of stuff in it what I agree with.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was some points what he was making I agree with. You know what I mean? But yeah, like the way I hate you, bitch. Fuck you. Like, I mean, I don't hate motherfucker. I don't hate nobody for what they think or what they believe or what they, you know what I mean? I just can't do that. So I don't agree with how he moves.
What you think, Real?
Yeah, I think dude was too pressed about the way another nigga run his family. I mean, I understand he don't agree with it, but at the end of the day, he don't got to deal with it if he cut off his motherfucking internet. Like you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people get mad at that shit, and it's like you don't have to see it if you like when you don't like something. It's like take away its only power over you, which is your attention. So before I let it get me to that point where I'm that heated to where I'm disrespecting a woman for how she get down and a man for how that man got to deal with that shit. My boys is damn near grown right now. They love women. They looking at colleges right now. Like, so I don't got to worry about shit like that. But
he did shit out though too. He got off.
He was upset.
Stephanie Bowles said selling their kid, that's cheap. Is this a case of them selling their child? Like how much of their influence is involved with this young man's behavior? And I'm not saying it's not him saying he wants to identify as a girl or whatever, but I'm saying I talked about this last night on the Big Black Sports Show. Usually when as parents, when our kids want to do something and they say that that's what they want, we support them in it, right? Like, so we say, I got to support you. So I made a joke, but I was serious saying after a while, now I done took my son, he demands that he's a little girl. So I'm taking him, and if I'm supporting him, I'm going to buy him some purses and buy him some skirts and some high heels. And then when he get to the point and be like, well, no, I just want to wear some jeans. Now as the father, I'm like, shit, you better get in there and grab one of them goddamn purses. I paid $250 for that Coach bag. I know it's a bad joke. It was horrible. But I mean, I'm saying I wonder how much of them is because they are celebrities. They want to be high profile. They want to, shout out to Wayne Richards. Shout out to Wayne Richards, man. One of my longest friends, one of the man for so long. He said, brothers, be aware of the agenda to feminize black men. Right. There's that. That's why I said nefarious, because that's kind of like in the background. But I mean, think about how twisted this situation was. There's a boy who identifies as a girl kissing a girl who identifies as a boy. I mean, even
he might realize he like pussy. I mean, he fuck with
okay.
I mean,
ain't no coming back from this though, because he gonna have to fight everywhere he go when he grow up. Like, oh, nigga, you shit out, man, motherfucker, try me now.
He fucking with a girl who identify as a boy. I mean, I'm guessing she. Well, I mean, they kids, so I guess we can't even,
No, he's 14. He's 14. They're teenagers. They kissing. They taking pictures of him.
I mean, true. I mean, he might find out about the joys of women, inadvertently.
He put his hand down her pants. He ain't gonna discover no boy tool, so he can't come back saying I like penis. He's gonna be like, oh, that was cool. I liked it. That, and then Dwayne gonna look at him and say, boy, you know what that was, don't you? What? You don't like, man.
Smell your hand.
I'm taking all these dresses back. So maybe this is good. I don't know. This shit
got
twisted.
I mean, it could be a good. I mean, I think like growing up, I was friends with a lot of tomboys, but they some badass women now. Like, you know what I'm saying? They was outside climbing trees with us, hitting flips, jumping fences, catching snakes.
No doubt.
And they done blossomed into some badass women.
Shout out to Maya Bay. She said, feminize. Let's elaborate on that. And y'all can call in. We got time. Y'all can call in or put it in the chat room, because I want to. We talk all night long. So I definitely want to keep the show interactive. I would love.
I mean, most definitely that is the bottom line of the agenda. I mean, society doesn't feel safe around black men unless they've been feminized, because a healthy black man in his right mind poses a threat to the narrative of bullshit that they're trying to pull over the world.
Well, yeah, when they're telling us about all of a sudden there's toxic masculinity, right? Instead of just a dude who ain't shit. You ain't get toxic masculinity. You just ain't shit. You a woman beater.
That ain't masculinity at all. You just ain't shit.
Then that means there's such thing as toxic femininity. We used to just say, well, she's just a hoe. Or now they say she for the streets. Like, I don't. There's good people, there's bad people, there's people who do wrong. I don't think you have to overgeneralize black masculinity because there's some dudes who over the top with the bullshit. But I once again, I feel like there's another kind of thing going on here. And I'm just on the outside looking in, because obviously I'm not a member of Dwayne Wade's family, but I feel like it's something going on. Once again, I asked, and this is another question that I asked last night in this conversation, and we talk about where we're saying kids decide early on, I like boys or I like girls, or they and so I'm saying, if you have an 8-9-year-old who's acting out in a sexual manner, what you need to do is figure out who's around your child. Why all of a sudden is this child acting out in that fashion? Because then we get to these stories, and brothers, I was 14 and my uncle molested me for 9 years and nobody knew. But he was sexualizing, acting out for a long time, and nobody ever said what's going on. So if you got a kid that wants to talk about their sexuality that early, I think I need to say, well, wait a minute, goddamn it. Has somebody been touching you? Why is this on your mind? Because as a kid, of course, we did the hide and go get it thing and all of that, but you ain't know what you was doing. You was just out, you just felt a certain instinct. So I'm just like, I feel like there's something else going on there with that little brother. And maybe by him being with this boy girl, or no, this would be a girl boy, right? The little girl who wants to be a boy.
They just call it a trans boy, so I guess that's a girl that converted. Boy. So I guess that's a girl that converted to being a boy. Yeah. So, and then I guess Dwayne Wade's child would be a trans girl, which it's hard to keep up.
Is Dwayne Wade gay? Is he gay? Is he gay leaning?
I don't know.
I mean, people say, well, he can't be because he's with a woman, but it seems like brothers can be like sometimes.
I mean, there's plenty of people operating in roles that they may not I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it make me like shit like that kind of make me think about like the white politicians that you know they get caught with the pumps and fishnets in their trunk, and you know it's really for them, but they a happily married husband, you know what I'm saying, with kids. But I mean, didn't they say Hoover had pumps and
Yeah,
fishnets or some
I call him the OC, the original cross dresser. Him and Clyde
shit?
pumping uglies. That's
But it made me think about what you were saying earlier about weed. You know, it seemed like that's the underlying thing of white man fear is black men fucking their women. So just like we were saying about the weed make could possibly help black men fuck white women, maybe that's why they enjoy seeing black men in a dress, because if you don't like pussy, they ain't gotta worry about you taking their white pussy or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
And
want to
you ain't
say
gonna
all
make no
black.
black baby. And you
What
ain't gonna make black baby.
Right, because that's their biggest fear, because all it takes is a drop.
Stephanie
You
Bowles
ain't
she
gonna make more black men.
she said another Will and Jada. Is Will Smith gay? I mean, is all this based on the fact that these dudes are really just gay and they've been holding it back so long? And you know, what's Jada? That's what I'm saying. This whole Whack 100 thing. How is this going to change Nipsey Hussle's legacy if this footage is somehow released of him engaged in a gay act with another man? Are y'all still going to look at Nipsey
I
Hussle
think
that way?
when you talk about what's legacy, it depends what you call a legacy.
I
Like
mean,
legacy. Hold on, check this out. Legacy could be what you believe. Like, okay, all the structure, all the stuff what he put in place in his community,
right.
the difference that he did to help businesses. That's a legacy. Okay, now you could just be, or are you talking about just a memory? Are you calling his memory a legacy?
Or reputation, a legacy.
Reputation. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, now let's be specific. What's at stake here? You know what I mean?
Right.
What he left here physically ain't at stake. I mean, it ain't nothing gonna happen to that.
Right.
You know what I mean? We could look at him different. The community may look at him different, but then they may not.
Okay.
I look at it like
just out of respect for the dead.
I don't know if that's I don't know if we're on the same page yet, Kamar. And you know,
Maybe.
usually we come back together like Voltron, but I'm saying I have to be honest about this because I've seen a whole bunch of pictures of Tupac. And there was a picture that he had where he was in a bed in a hotel somewhere with a dude, and they both had their shirts off. I don't know what was going on. I don't care, and I'm not looking into it. But it said, you know, your boy. The caption said he was a fruitcake, and that he was gay or whatever. It said fruitcake. I'm not saying gay people are. You know, that's what the caption said. So
right.
people ask me the question because I feel like Tupac is the greatest rapper that ever came along. I feel like Tupac is the embodiment of what hip hop actually was back in the 90s and where it was going. And he was the social part of him being the son of a Black Panther and coming from that struggle and all that added to kind of like his appeal to us. But if you come out now with a video and he's on there kissing a man or engaged in any sexual acts with a man, it changes his place as far as my favorite rapper goes. It makes me say he's not really my favorite rapper no more. Because
and that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. Like, okay, well, you talking about if his legacy is your memory or your reputation, like Rail said, like that would be his reputation at stake. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So we are in agreement, Kev.
Okay. So if Nipsey is gay, if this footage comes out, then people should not revere him the way we once. Because if our image was of this dude who was a rolling 60 crip who cared about his hood and was a real dude and was out here official and he was trying to find a way out and empower people and all that, that's the way we remember him. But if it comes out he was just a dude with a gay videotape doing what he could do to get money to pay off some dudes who was extorting him over it.
No, I think he did stuff what he did out of love for the community. He didn't do that to make money to pay nobody. I mean, he was getting money anyway. He was gonna get money anyway.
He was getting money.
That's just what you do out there. You get money. You know what I mean?
But when you got to pay Whack 100 and Big U extortion money every month, you got to get a little bit more. It takes a slice out of the kitty. And let's be honest, Nipsey Hussle never sold a lot of records while he was alive. He didn't sell a whole lot of records. His notoriety, and he was able to make a lot of money moves in the rap game because it was changing that whole internet stream thing had come along, and that was very beneficial. But he wasn't like a multi-platinum artist while he was alive. So he did sell a few t-shirts here and there.
Hey, but he was independent, so he was getting his money off of he was selling.
I think his album was like $100 or some shit. So
yeah, then he did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you ain't gotta sell a lot of your shit $100. You still gonna come out better than these motherfuckers that they record label taking off a top, then they manager, then they lawyer. Then
that money from that $10,000 album, was that Whack 100 and Big U money?
So I don't know. I mean, you know, me personally, like I look at it like this. I mean, if you was asking would that fuck up his legacy? I mean, to me, however somebody's personal life don't negate the work they put in. Like, and you know, that's so. If I found out he was gay or got a gay video out there, it'd be no different to when I found out Martin Luther King was popped after he stepped out of the room with a bunch of white women. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it don't negate what he did as a man. You know what I'm saying? So
if R. Kelly was in the verses with somebody, right? And everybody know it ain't too many people that's gonna win the verses against R. Kelly. Okay, knowing what R. Kelly may have done or did, you know what I'm saying? Does that still make him? Would that make him lose the verses? You know what I mean? Like, would his music be less credible? Now, the work that he done is it still solid? I mean, you could question it because of the lyrics when you go back and listen to the lyrics now. But you know what I mean? But it still ain't too many people that will beat R. Kelly in the verse.
Yeah, yeah, maybe the verses thing. I get that. I'm just
saying. What I'm saying is like, okay, your reputation can be ruined, but the legacy of work may not be tarnished.
Right.
Y'all don't. I feel different after figuring out that Richard Pryor was bisexual and had relationships with a transgender man. That changed Richard Pryor. Don't get me wrong.
I think he had a joke about it. Like I think he said it on stage.
On the roast. He had a roast. I just watched it the other day, as a matter of fact.
So that's still Richard
funny.
Pryor to me.
Still funny, but there's an asterisk. I'm sorry. There's an asterisk. And that thing about Martin Luther King, it'd be totally different for me if he came out of a room full of white dudes. See, the fact that you said he came out of a room full of white women, I'm like, okay, I can kind of see that. But I mean, they from what they say about the tapes, which are going to be coming up, where they're going to be releasing these recordings. I think it's in 5 or 6 years. Supposedly, the record of the FBI tapes that they made of Martin Luther King are going to be for public information. So apparently, he was a pretty wild individual. But I feel like he deserved a little something, you know, for the work he was doing. But now, if I find out that there was a room full of white dudes and he had just got done getting passed around and he came out and got shot, it's going to change my perspective of him. I'd be like the rumors about Malcolm X, where and don't get me wrong, Malcolm X is probably one of, if not the greatest leader we've ever had. But there's been a lot of conversations about Malcolm X, you know, doing certain things with white men for money back in the day. So I don't never want to, if a tape come out, I don't want to see its own. I'm like, nah, cuz that ain't cool, Malcolm.
Martin. It can change your perspective. It definitely can. But you still can't change. You can't take
work
the motherfucker did.
Right.
I feel like the brat is compromised since she done came out. Like, to me, I don't look at the brat the same.
But then we really knew she was gay.
She ain't come out to nobody but herself. Like
I know that, but I'm saying she went married. Like, yeah, that's true.
She never said nothing different. She never acted like she just didn't mention shit.
Honestly, the only time I couldn't accept the brat is when she came out talking about the men she liked. That song with
Tyrese.
It's that's like, come on, Brad. You pretty as hell in them girl clothes, but we all know you like pussy.
I got a whole lot of L. That's your generation. Y'all was with all that shit. I played Soldier Boy, all that good shit on your generation. all on y'all.
Thunderbolt, they was after me. I'm 83, man.
I'm putting all that shit on you young motherfuckers. That's all on y'all. All that shit.
Oh man,
But
the
no,
big
man.
ass shirts
But
they was wearing.
I'm a grudgeful individual. I'm just honest about it. I always talk about how Serena Williams is forever compromising me because she married a white dude, and I never had a chance with Serena. And I've been man, my wife like, why you even care? Like, I'm just like, I
I
just feel like
mean,
to me when it just was a symbol of well, we supported you and we held you down, and even when they dissed you, and then all of a sudden brothers wasn't good enough. So that's me. Eve, I feel the same way about Eve. I'm like, oh man, fuck Eve.
I think she called a prince though or some shit,
She
didn't she?
called a
Like
rich Russian
a
dude. Right? I wonder how
Grecian
that's working
prince or
out
some
for him,
shit.
right?
Oh, okay.
I wonder
I
how
mean,
that's
but I
working.
feel you. I feel you though. I mean, that
I'll
just.
be
But
on.
even
I'll be on.
that, it make you wonder then about like you think about a lot of the black women that they've just placed into these powerful positions. I don't think they got black husbands. I don't think none of them got black husbands. So you know what I'm saying? So it
Yeah,
is what it
the
is.
sister who just got elected to the Supreme Court, and everybody was and then I went and did some research on it and found out that her judicial record towards
Yeah.
people of color is questionable, and she's married to more young Wynarski. I don't know what his real name is, but
And then
I
they
mean,
were saying she was letting a lot of pedophiles off. She was giving them lenient ass things. So I don't know how true it is, but yeah, I look at shit like that. I mean,
yeah, man.
yeah, yeah.
We made some more history this week before I get out of here because I was supposed to talk about this earlier in the show. Jose Perez was elected as the Common Council president. He is the first Latino. So now we got a black mayor, black police chief, black county executive, black sheriff, black treasurer, black city attorney, and a Latino president of the Common Council. I keep talking about this city now is my minority run, but now if you're just tuning into the show, we did discuss that Chris Abley has kind of funded DC Crowley $750,000 for him to become the first black county executive, and then given $250,000 to Chevy Cavalier Johnson's mayoral campaign. So this dude's holding all of the cards. He's, we can say we got black people out front, but when you look behind the curtain, what color is the wizard? Right. So I'm happy that Latino people are making strides, but I'm a little bit concerned about who's really pulling the strings here.
Right.
As optimistic as I am about this being this city where it's all about us and about black people running things and doing things and having offices, it really don't do me no good if you're a puppet. If you got the oppressor's hand up your soot hole, as my mama say, working your mouth and your lips. So
That's how I
um,
normally go though.
yeah, and it's sad, and I think we need to pay more attention to that. Kamar, this is the last Outlaw Radio for the week. You're going to what you got going this weekend?
I got a cardio blast event going on where I'll be going. They doing it's a couple ladies that they got a workout thing where they do where they talk to women about breast cancer, and they work out with women. So I'm gonna go do that. I guess men gonna be involved also, so it's not just women.
I
But
was
I
gonna
guess
say,
I'm gonna go push these tees up there Saturday, and then do meetings Monday. Monday, the fish fry at the garden for Friday was canceled, so we ain't gonna do that one. It's gonna be too cold Friday.
okay. Real, what you got popping, man?
Uh, just always on my hustle, man. You know, promoting my book, writing my other book. Got the 12 steps to becoming your own dope. You know, teaching people emotional intelligence and critical thinking so that they can stay out of some of this bullshit that's so easy to fall into. And then I am a licensed hemp processor, so I did, for 420, I did end up re-upping on. This is CBD, but it's Delta 8 THC. So it's a CBD that's infused with a legal form of THC that's hemp derived. That's supposed to be about 70% as psychoactive as loud. So a lot of older people fuck with me on it because they still looking for that Reggie high. So some can't handle the new high. So this is more equivalent to the Reggie high that a lot of older people feel more comfortable with.
Okay. And I'll be back tomorrow night with Outlaw Nation. I'll have Travis Foster, who's a young brother, who's a comedian here, trying to get his trying to get his foot in the game with his videos and whatnot. He is family basically for me because I'm very his family. I got a lot of love for the Davis family. I've been affiliated with them for a very long time. Shout out to the entire Atkinson set and of Davises, right? Like, so if you know, you know. So I'll be back on tomorrow night. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Shout out to Stephanie Bowles. She said never say what you won't do. She was talking about all Hollywood men being weirdos, like we've been alluding to, and being and having this gay thing going for them. Shout out to Wayne Richards. He said they always find a way to disrespect, shame, and kill our heroes. And this is one thing that the conversation about the Nipsey Hussle thing was like, is this an attempt to kind of like smear his legacy, or was he just another Hollywood freak nasty? I mean, because come on, man, to pay another man just to have sex with you and your baby mama and then record it. This to me indicates some character flaws. I'm sorry. I don't want to go with you if that's kind of like how you get down, right? Like, so
I really question if that something like that happened. You know what I'm saying?
ill. It's nasty, right? Come on. And they no Kamar. The controversy is that Nipsey supposedly interacted with this dude too. So it wasn't just them on his baby mama. They had some touching and agreeing, as the old folks say, too. So yeah,
Why threaten about the tape now? You know what I mean? Like, why say like, look, we had this tape, we was doing this to him. Like, who heads you holding over now?
Well, that's just the thing, because now the controversy is were you brothers Whack and Big U extorting him? And then two is this why are you talking about this? Because he swears he has love for this dude. Why are you even talking about it? Why are you telling somebody about it? Right? If
a
you
meal
really
ticket.
right. So and Whack has come up with the part 2 of the Ray J Kim Kardashian sex tape and all this kind of stuff. So
I'll tell you what I did see. I watched a video today, man, about with Benzino. Benzino getting caught
oh my
at a
God.
Red Roof Inn with a faggot.
And you know what? If you gay, you be gay, right? Like I keep saying, if you out there and you gay, just be gay, like be the gayest. But don't be fronting like you something else, right? And then get caught and lie. Just be gay. You should have told us. We gonna feel the same way either way it goes. I had a message for Rail that is Chantel Gwen. She said, "Can we post Rail's book information, Facebook page, and contact info?" That's what you get, man, when you get down with the Outlaw family.
Hey, I greatly appreciate that.
Particulars, man.
Okay,
You
I
got to put it in
posted.
the chat room.
I posted into the chat room, but then also my Facebook is RELLY space JAI. So that's how you can message me. I got some books on deck if you local. Otherwise, it is available on Amazon. Both my 12 Steps to Becoming Your Own Dope and my Gratitude Journal.
Yeah, I can't wait until we really do. And I'm on my way, y'all. I ain't gonna talk about it. When we do the whole shebang bang, when we show up at the event, we got the Outlaw radio table with the Nature's Nature. We got Real, we got Courtney if she's
Okay, for sure.
open to it, and people see the whole joint in full effect, like Voltron.
I'm down.
Because that's coming too. That's coming too. She said, Chantel Gwen said, "Thank you for the smoothies, Kamar." So yeah, man. Like I said, the whole point of this story is happy 420. Ultimately, you make the decision about what works best for you. I would encourage anybody to try to achieve balance with no matter what you do, because like I said before, too much of anything is too much, right? Like even sex or something like that. Like you could get like, damn, you're just doing too much. And I think marijuana can be a great thing, but I think it can be a destructive thing in some cases, depending on how it's utilized. And you know, if there's two cats competing to see who can sell the more, and it comes to a situation where violence has to be executed in order for somebody to win, then it becomes counterproductive. I think we do need to legalize marijuana because I'm more into the decriminalization of it, because I want all brothers who are locked up doing time or frivolous bullshit to be released. And there's no use on pursuing a war against drugs that had a base that was based on racism and segregation and discrimination in the first place. If there's a war on drugs, let it be a war on drugs that are destructive, and let's come up with real processes and solutions to it, real credible rehab, clinics and services. It can't be well, we're going to put cocaine in this community because we're trying to fund a war in South America. And that shit don't have shit to do with wild honey, which was balanced on our back. And when you say, I'm going to decriminalize marijuana because I don't want Mexicans or black guys sleeping with white girls, all this shit is bullshit, right? That's all bullshit. That's why I say decriminalize it and regulate it, just like you do liquor, just like you do cigarettes. And just all of y'all made a good point of what you need to do to sugar to a certain degree, right? And we really have to examine how much sugar and how much what's the acid, the folic acid, and all these kinds of shit that we pumping into our artificial sweeteners into our children, and then we wondering why they acting a goddamn fool. It might have something to do with us stuffing them full of carcinogens and congenitions and shit like that, right? I fucked that up, but y'all get what I'm saying.
Most
So
definitely.
be careful, man. Just try to be the best you can. I asked the question, when do we get tired of this? When do we say enough is enough? We all have to make a collective effort to be better people. One of the things I do try to do is to be a good person. I try. I'm not always a good person, right? I'm still, say God's still working on me, so I still make mistakes, and I still sometimes people get lost in the sauce, as Stephanie Bowles said. But I make an effort to be a good person. I make an effort to be an asset to my community. I've always worked with young people and families, and I've always tried to help them get from point A to point B, not to build up a dependence, provide them with resources so that they can move forward in life. And that's all I'm really asking. I'm not saying we need to hold hands and do kumbaya, but we all can make an effort to be better. I am no longer accepting the excuse, I never knew nothing different. You got a television, you have a phone, you have the internet. You see examples of something different every day. You at one point have to realize that dysfunction and crazy violence and hyperactive impulse, loss of control, and all this kind of stuff, it's negative. You see it in your community. Look out the window. You see homeless people. You see mentally ill people. You see all the things that you should not be doing. Why are we running towards those things, embracing them? That has to change. And I feel like the way it's going to change is for us to take people's crutches away from them. Enough is enough. You know, I talk about all the time where I'm in a gas station or I'm in the store and somebody's clowning, they look back and say, you know what I'm saying, bro? And I'm always dude standing there like, no, I don't. You heard it fucked up. I'm trying to leave. Enough is enough with the bullshit, man. You young, you make mistakes, you live your life. I get it. But it's way too many old thugs. It's way too many old gangsters out here still trying to hold on to something they did in 1992. And as a result, they're not putting any kind of wisdom or positivity into the young kids. And I'm with that generation too. We still sagging our pants. Time to get you some Dockers and some Tiger Woods Coach Nikes and pull your pants up, man. Fasten up your belt, man. We got man shit to do in this community. That's what I'm saying. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. No more excuses. If you part of the problem in our community, we want you removed expeditiously, right? So you can sell that song. Well, I'm just trying to get some money. Well, you killing us to do it, so we don't want you here. Why my auntie and my baby's got to be strung out and be suffering because you need to make some twos and fews instead of taking your ass somewhere, getting a goddamn job? I'm sorry. It's hard, but it's fair, man. It is what it is, man. You have to understand either you part of the problem or you part of the solution. And just like Willie D said, if your criticism of the black community is greater than your contribution, the problem is your ass is a coon. I'll see y'all tomorrow night for Outlaw Nation, man. You have to understand, either you are with us or you are against us.
So black men would have never did that. In a pussy. Yeah, man, Barack Obama for wearing a brown suit.
Okay, so it is what it is. I'm not alone until I got the whole